is up, Wing family? It is Rob Gordon here at AWSI 2024. You guys wanted me to come make another video, so I did it. Please, if you like the video, hit the super thanks down in the little 3 dots and give me a little tip. Help me pay for the gas and campsites for this trip. I'm gonna ask each brand to talk about one thing they're really excited about or that they think is like a game changer. I hate that word. If I'm interested in something else, I'll ask them about it. And then, you know, I may change the format a little bit for companies that I want to learn more about. It's my video. And then I had that poll that I put up to see which company would you want to hang out with. Unifoil, I guess the jumpsuits backfired. You guys lost the poll. And then KT and Code tied for first place. So maybe we'll spend a little extra time with those guys. I know the KT foils are going to be a hot topic this year. Hopefully we'll get to try one. There is no wind right now. There was some wind out east. I saw Cabrinha testing out a few things last minute. We'll go from there. Look at those nerds over there in their jumpsuits. Unifoil nerds.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay guys, I'm here with Nick Obi. He's one of my good friends from foiling. He taught me a bunch of cool stuff when I was just getting started, and he knows everything about Axis. So what do you want to talk about today, Nick?
So today I'm going to start with talking about our new rears that we have in our lineup here. It's the 358s. This is our 358 that we've had in the past, and now we've added 2 new 358s that are full ultra carbon construction. There's no core, they're just solid ultra. And we found with these newer wings that we're going to get into with these Ultra V2s that you rely more on the front wing. You don't need so much tail to it. So everybody's dropping their tail sizes and everything. And these have just been really well accepted. And we found that we had to go Ultra because you're going so thin and you don't want any flex in it. And you would think that you can't really get going on this, or it's not going to hold you well, you're not going to be able to pump. And these have been very surprising to all of us, how well you can pump with them, glide with them. They catch, they just grip really good in the turns. These, I feel, are going to be a very well accepted future product that we're putting out now.
That's crazy. They look like a toothpick.
Yeah, and it really is. Every time we bring out a prototype and it's smaller and smaller, we're like, oh no, it's not going to work. And we take it out, and we were at the M2O. Pretty much every rider we had was on one of these 2 sizes out there. They couldn't get enough of it.
Wow.
I think we even flew some in for that contest just last minute because everybody wanted to be on that.
I'd love to try a skinny tail like that to try and up my top speed. I've been doing some speed runs, and I think that's really limiting me as my...
Yeah, and we're just really driving that force forward on everything, and we're looking for those future bumps. So you don't really need this, just a little bit of stability on the back end there, which now brings me over to our V2s. So we redid the Art V2 system. It's a different outline, looks a little bit like the Spitfire, and we added some camber to it and cut away a bit of the cord. So it's really just a very efficient foil. This has been my biggest foil I've used lately, which is crazy because I'm going in from everything from tiny little bumps to about waist high. I'll jump over to our 879. Because of how efficient they are, they're allowing us to ride way smaller sizes. So if I'm normally on, let's say, an 1100 surface area, I'm dropping down to an 800 surface area foil. That's a huge drop in surface area and I'm not losing any low end. And I feel that I'm gaining on that low end because now I'm so efficient that I'm going way faster and able to keep up with the smaller stuff.
Nice. So is that a good foil for someone who maybe they thought the ART Pro was too hard to ride?
Yeah,
or is it?
This foil is going to be way easier. It's very forgiving. You have a huge range. The stall speed to it is very low on it. You're able to breach it out. We're doing these also in an ultra construction, so everybody's always like, oh, what can I use for doing jumps? What can I freestyle with? These are going to be your foil for freestyle.
Nice.
All right, it's ultra. We can jump them, we can beat them up. They're stiffer because of that ultra construction, So you're just gonna have a way better response to everything. The team's really been just full breaching these out and enjoying how well they enter back into the water. You look at it and go, wow, that's high aspect, but it's very stable. It's just very user-friendly, it's controllable. You're not gonna end up feeling overpowered that easily on one of these. They just take right off. You have your different speeds. You can cut around somebody really quick, and then you can slow right down and just enjoy that wave going back and forth on the face, carve back. You don't have to worry about it. If it breaches out at all, it's not gonna cavitate and drop on you or anything. You're just gonna keep going. So you can focus on your ride and where you're going rather than worrying about if your foil's gonna keep you going, if you're gonna slip on it.
Yeah, they look really awesome for like surf freestyle, because they look like they still have good speed and good efficiency, but they're like friendly.
And on the foil drives, this has been my favorite foil series. It feel like it's almost built for it. You can come out of a turn and you can drop to the water and just gas it and take right off. You don't have to lay back down and get your speed up. It'll just take off again.
Nice.
They love to have push from behind. So if a wave hits and you're just going faster, if you're riding, all of a sudden that wave crumbles and you're getting some whitewash, just hold on. It's gonna just keep going. You're not gonna wobble or anything. It's gonna stay nice and fluid. You're gonna take off with it. And with the foil drives, I've been just dropping down size after size with these, and I'm really impressed with it. It's a real easy, fast foil, so you can get your momentum going forward. And then once you're up, you just tons of lift to it when you want it. So you can ride really slow with it to catch that wave.
Very cool. Well, we're only doing, one thing mostly for each brand, but anything else that you might want to talk about that maybe no one else wants you to talk about?
Yeah. So, yeah, let me bring us in.
There might be more to this interview, but I have been asked not to share it yet. I'm sure someone else will leak this probably before I release the rest of this video, but there is more coming soon, possibly.
Hey, so my name's Brittany. I'm with Access Foils and also Ozone, and I've been starting some new beginner clinics on empowering women in wind sports, and I'm just happy to get more females on the water, feeling confident and excited to enjoy the sport. This winter, I'm helping with an expedition down in La Ventana for more experienced riders, and that's through Saladita. But yeah, just really excited to evolve the sport and get more women psyched on it. So
that's so awesome. What's your Insta so people can check you out?
It is Soul Medicine. That's SOL.medicine.
Dude, so cool. Nice to meet you, and maybe I'll see you down there in Baja one day.
Yeah, sounds good.
You still don't reach much.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, what's going on?
Catch, ready? Say hi.
Hey, man, the wingman's here.
Hey, this is Tommy. We met him down when we did our trip, the Gulf Coast winging, so go check that out.
Yes, sir. Come see Gulfport Board Sports. We'll hook you up.
I'm here with Grant from Core, and what's the one thing you want to talk about this year?
The thing I'm the most stoked about is the new Vert 700 front wing. This thing, it rips in waves anywhere from like waist down. As long as you stay in the power band, you can ride a small wave ripping on this thing. The way this comes out, you see how this draws in a little bit here? That gives you a really good recovery when you do jumps. This thing is sick for freestyle. You come down, you pop right back up on the foil.
Dude, that's sick. It looks like it's really a boomerang shape. We're not seeing that from a lot of foils right now.
Really boomerang. I find that it's easy to get half this foil out of the water mid-turn and get it back in and ride away seamlessly. Like, this is my go-to everyday foil for big or small conditions. It's pretty much making all the other foils in my quiver obsolete.
That's so crazy. And does it have like concave or any camber? Or
so you see quite a bit of anhedral, and then here it pops up on the sides for a little bit of dihedral. I think that a little more stability. I don't design foils. I don't really know. But it is super light. It's all carbon. It's super strong. This is like my go-to weapon.
Do you have anything for maybe the older guys that weigh a little bit more who are not probably going to be ripping as hard as you?
100%. So in our vert line, we have a couple other options. So if you come over here, we've got this 850, right? This 850 vert is going to be the next step up. As you see, it's more of a straight line. It has less of that boomerang. This is going to be your ultimate glide weapon. This thing, in a little bit smaller surf, whatever it is, or maybe you don't want to turn on the wave so much, you want to get on and just cruise, relax, this is going to be your step up. The next one, what I really like for light wind conditions, right? If I'm going out in a spot like Florida, right? I'm going out on a 5-6 meter wing, 7, whatever it is. This is it. This thing will pump forever. The glide on this is ridiculous. It still has a pretty good turn, but it's not going to give you that same performance, that drive.
Right.
But you're going to get up in anything.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the 1050. We have 1050, 850, 700. And it just depends on the style you want to ride.
Dude, well, thanks for all the info. Yeah, I've been, I use my 3.5 is a Core XC. I've been having,
amazing.
That's my backflip wing. So I've been, I'd love to have a Halo Pro, but I can't afford it.
I know, and they're a lot more expensive when you put your foil through them doing backflips.
Exactly, that's the main reason. But
I did it the other day.
Oh no. Well, thanks for the info, man.
Yeah,
awesome.
Of course.
All right, cheers.
Thank you.
I hate to even give this guy attention because he loves attention so much. But dude, say hi, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick from Unifoil. Stoked to see my buddy, I guess, Rob, up here.
Are we buddies? You gave me a fuse that's got a drill bit stuck in it, and so I can't, it wiggles because I can't put a second screw in it.
Yeah, but in my defense, I charged you extra.
Yeah, Patrick, he does the dumbest memes. He is a surprisingly good foiler for how unserious a person he is. He does no winders down in seal area that honestly you should not be able to even ride.
Yeah, it's 6 to 10 miles with 5 to 10 mile an hour wind. Not bad.
And we're talking the Sub Foil here, guys. We're talking he's just gliding on. What do you do? The Progression 200 for that?
Yeah, actually, I've been using a new wing lately. It's coming out soon. It's a 155. So quite a bit smaller, but still able to use it in like that light wind, gutless days.
Is it a new range?
It's a whole new range, yeah.
Very exciting. Yeah, I'm going to come over and talk to Uni later. I have to do that. I've been loving my Uni gear lately, to be honest. I put a Marlin on the back of the 210, and it's become like one of my go-to foils. And then the 125, check out my Insta. I was ripping turns on it 2 days ago. I was trying to, Mick Flowey said I couldn't turn like him.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, let me try.
Yeah. I'll bet, right? I'll prove it. Yeah,
that's what I said. But he said it would be easier for me to learn how to pop up on SUP than to turn like him. And I said, that's ridiculous. I don't know anything about SUP.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I don't think you could SUP.
Well, I want to do a video someday. Anyway, I'm going to get back to my other stuff, but dude, great seeing you.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys.
All right, so Cabrinha finally got their act together. Cabrinha, and they're at the trade show now. I ran into John and Brody out doing some last minute testing at Viento this morning. In my opinion, the best foot straps in the game. You need to be able to adjust your foot straps perfectly for freestyle because your foot needs to be able to stay in there but not stay in there too long. In my opinion, the best foot straps in the game. Let's go see if we can find someone to talk to us. I don't know if John's around. Maybe we'll have to come back.
Yeah, but so that's something that I tried and like.
This is Brody, the genius behind all their wings. I've been riding Cabrinha since day one, to be honest. I'm on the Kane Cyclone V2, which is a similar wing. What do you got for us this year?
Yeah, so this is our new wing this year. This is the Air. It's just a very streamlined version of a wing. Same canopy, same construction as all our other wings, but we've gone with a soft handle. So we've gone back to the basics. It's just a bare bones, super simple wing. A little more price point option. Really great for downwind pack downs, and it goes all the way down to a 1 meter. So this will be a great wing for kids to learn on.
Dude, that's so awesome because I think everyone's doing para wings and stuff right now, but a really lightweight small wing is just as good for deflate downwind, right?
Well, and you get great upwind performance still. So if you want to do a couple miles upwind, a wing pack down is
that looks like a really fun wing too for not just for getting groms and kids into the sport, but also if you just want to go out in the waves and all you're trying to do is get up on foil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, well, also here in the gorge, we have a lot of smaller women that are winging in 40 knots quite regularly, and having a 2 meter is still too big for them. So,
yeah, I believe
I think we're going to sell a lot of the 1.6 and maybe even 1.3s.
I want one just to practice tricks in my house.
Yeah.
Or maybe wing skate, I don't know. But what's going on with the Vision and the Mantis? Like, I still am like on an older version.
Yeah, so these are, it's an all new design this year. We've added rigid battens to the trailing edge, so just controlling some of that flutter and the performance just gives a much more direct feel to the canopy. It's got an all new profile, and we've added more sweep to the wingtip, and it's got a more forward swept shape. So it's just a more balanced wing all around. Our Mantis is still kind of our like go-to if you want a really kind of powerhouse wing, hammer upwind, ride waves. It's really balanced off the front handle. We've still got our rigid front handle, and then we also have an option for a boom this year.
That is huge. Like, so what? Give me the info on the boom. There's a couple of different sizes, and they work for a couple of wings.
Yeah, so there's 3 sizes of boom. They work throughout our whole range. We'll have it on the website for which one to go for which. We've used a 70-75 aluminum handle, so it's super rigid. Not going to have any problems with bending. The freestyle guys really put a lot of load on these when they're doing their handle pass tricks, and we just wanted to have a super bomber handle. And then we have a new front handle here. It's different than these ones. It's like, I think 80 or maybe 100 mil taller than even our tall front handle was. So you can see there, you can really grab on the front here, and it gives you more clearance for your knuckles over here.
Can I get that boom on my the Kane Cyclone? Because I've been trying back mobs with webbing tied between the 2 handles.
Yeah, so it will fit some of the older models, but it doesn't fit all of them because we didn't. The spacing now has been slightly tweaked to fit the booms, so it'll fit some of the sizes, but not everyone.
Maybe you guys can put up a chart on the website, because that would be so. I mean, like, that's going to make a huge difference.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Benji just doing crazy stuff.
Yeah, well, and also the guys coming from a windsurf background, just used to sliding their hands in jibes and switching, and people just, the booms are kind of the new hot thing.
Yeah, I think it is. That's so sick. Oh, the Vision. Did we talk about the Vision?
Yeah, we can grab the Vision real quick here. So it's a little bit of a softer feel wing. It has a little bit more give to it, a little more user-friendly, not that like super grunty feel. Same updates, rigid battens, same additional segment in the wingtip. Just a great overall kind of your daily driver wing.
And I feel like the S shape in the strut really improved the Vision. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, it really helps. We have just a very long, solid canopy attachment here. It really just helps distribute that high load area out into your wing. Just make sure you're keeping everything nice and tight through the sheeting range when you're really powered up.
And are you guys still using Dacron leading edges? And
yeah.
Is there any new technology that makes it stiffer now? Or
no, we still have our double panel here. We've gone with a lighter weight Dacron in the second ply, so just saving a little bit of weight. Both these wings are slightly lighter than last year's models. We tried to take out as much weight as we could where we could without affecting the performance.
So the stiffness comes from 2 layers?
Yeah, so it's 2 layers, and then they're stitched in multiple locations, so you're really, you're not getting sliding between the 2 layers. They become, one very solid piece of Dacron.
That's awesome. Yeah, if you can get the same stiffness and not have to use some super expensive material, I'm gonna rip my wings in like 3 sessions anyway, so that's awesome.
Yeah, and with the slightly higher dihedral in the Vision than the Mantis, you need that extra stiffness in the middle. But we have this feature on both.
Very cool.
But, you really need it here.
And one of the better wings to ride waves on and luff, because you got that solid handle, and then the wing, even though it has a lot of dihedral, it really sits in the pocket so well when you're luffing.
Very balanced, and it really, where you point the strut, the wing is going to go because it's very roll coupled by that dihedral. And then this front handle just gives you so much control on the wave. You're able to, really manipulate the wing just with one hand.
That's awesome. That's kind of like what I was most interested about. I think you guys have new foils coming soon, so let's not even talk about them.
Not at the moment, but
but they're coming.
There is something coming.
Okay. And then boards, you have the Swift. Did you guys put foot straps on the Swift now?
Yes, the Swift has a couple options for foot strap inserts now. We still tried to keep it very minimized to keep the weight down. We didn't want to add a bunch of weight to this board because most people are riding it strapless. So
right.
But it gives you, you know, we still have our curved inserts here so you can rotate the front foot. Great option for if you just wanted to run one front foot strap, which a lot of guys are doing on these longer, narrower boards.
That's all you need, honestly. Like, even when I'm on a big wave, I want just that front foot strap.
Yeah.
I have my back foot strap out on the rail to control it. And then if I want to do a jump, I put my foot in the back foot strap. But I'd be interested in, I don't paddle up yet, but I want a foot strap even for paddling up.
Yeah.
Just to pull against
just
it.
that extra assurance there. Something to push on.
Well, dude, thanks so much for the info. I love these little wing, and hopefully I'll keep riding Cabrinha for a while. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah,
I always end up with them.
Sweet. Thanks for your time.
Thanks. Okay, I'm here with Max, the designer of the Flysurfer wings, and I think you want to talk about the Tau, right? The new Tau?
Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to talk about it. So we designed the Tau in the next generation. We added a long boom, so it's a carbon boom with an oval shape, so it's really nice in your hands. We have reinforced the whole leading edge segments to get some extra stiffness. So like Nathan is jumping his big jumps, we saw we need to have a little bit extra stiffness. We still kept the normal Dacron because we want to have a proper price for everyone and not to be too expensive. We worked on some sail tension to get some extra power out of the kite and also to have a longer, really strong canopy for durability. I'm really proud of this product. It's really balanced now, so it doesn't matter if you go into waves, if you are in a low end, so you get out so much power, and the weight is also really good. So it's, I think, a good choice for everyone to just do whatever you want to do on the water.
I agree. It looks especially good for someone like me who likes freestyle and surf freestyle. It looks really good for those two things. Is the canopy material regular nylon, or is it some sort of low stretch, or is it the same?
No, this is a normal D2. So
okay.
This one was proved for us, and I was searching for different kind of materials. But whenever I was searching and I had, for example, an extra ripstop thread, I saw that the weight is increasing, but there was nothing helping you in performance. So it's just adding weight, get it more expensive, but at the end the result is not better in performance. And when you hit your foil into the canopy, for example, it will not rip even more when you just have two ripstops. So there is not really a difference.
But so does it stretch out over time, or is it?
It is the same. Like the stretching is more related to the coating. When the coating is losing his connection to the threads, then you get the stretch. So basically we have a really good device at our company to do proper tests on it, and I checked every fabric which is available on the market so far. And for the price and performance value, like this relationship, I still came up with the D2 fabric. So this was the choice for our normal average wing, I would say.
Gotcha. Well, I like what you're doing with the Dacron. Like, you're making the leading edge stiffer, but you're staying with Dacron. You're not using some crazy new material. I actually think the newer materials, not only they're more expensive, to me, they're not as abrasion resistant, I've noticed. Like, if my foil nicks them, they seem to have an issue. I think this is the way to go. You mind if I hold it?
Yeah, for sure. I think it really depends on what you want to have, you know. When you want to have a good freeride wing which has a good price, I think this is the way to go. When you want to go more into racing and you really need the best available performance on the market, I would agree you would need some stronger materials, maybe also some lighter ones. But for normal freeriding, I would say this is the choice. And you know how quick it is to destroy a wing, and you saw your money flying away. So
that's
you
why
will not feel better performance at all. So yeah.
That's why I buy really cheap wings. But this is great, and it's a very tight canopy.
Yeah.
I feel like I could do a 720 on this.
Yeah, the thing is, when you do not have a tight canopy and you depower, you have so much flapping, which is causing a lot of drag. So once you want to do a proper tack and you have a too loose canopy, you will get dragged back and you cannot move through the wind. So
this feels great. Honestly, I would ride this wing. What's the price point on it? Do you know?
To be honest,
don't know. Okay.
I can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
I think it's related to the market, and I'm also not the salesperson, so I'm from the R&D side.
It looks good. It looks really good. I really like it.
But I know we are having a really good price range. Yeah.
I actually am excited to try that. So thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Nice to meet you.
You too.
You can hopefully try it this week.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like exactly what I want in a wing.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
All right, I'm here with winger extraordinaire Fred Hope. You guys might have seen his most recent, maybe the most gnarly wipeout I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's been 3 days and I'm still sore and having trouble sleeping. So my whole left side's all bruised up.
Oh, so you did get a little.
I did. I also broke my board on my hip as well earlier in the day, and so yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it.
It was one of the gnarliest. I didn't know you were a jumper guy. I thought you were more of a Kenny Adgate, smooth guy. I saw you doing some beautiful reverse tacks or whatever. I don't know how you call them. But
yeah, where you go around the nose of the board. I ride strapless when I'm winging. So I was trying strapless airs and accidentally started spinning, and then it threw me into a second one. And
it was, I didn't know what, I thought you were going for like a triple front flip.
No, it was definitely non-intentional. I was trying to get away from the foil because when you jump strapless on the wing, right, if you fall next to it, it's going to be kind of dangerous. With the foil falling down above your head.
Wait, were you strapless in that?
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I mostly ride strapless. My ankles can't handle straps anymore. So
yeah, and I feel that. Dude, I'm glad you're alive. Amazing footage. What's the one thing Slingshot's got going on this year? It seems like you guys are really pushing this new system. So
so we've really stepped up our game everywhere, but the main thing we're focused on at this show and what we're just unveiled today actually to the public is our new one lock system. This is a new foil platform we had. So before we had Phantasm and we had Hoverglide. What we've really done now is created one platform with 0 screws. So in order to put the system together, you don't have to use any screws on the bottom, right? So if you zoom in here, you can see there's a little latch here. So you just put your fingernails in there, pull it down, and it opens up. If you want to put it back in, you basically go in vertically, seat it all the way in, tighten it down, lock it down. What's nice about this system is the latch isn't actually holding the system together. It just pulls it together and locks it in. So if I take this off and then I try to pull the fuselage off, it can't, I don't know how many pounds you could apply to this before it ripped out, but it's really locked in there. So what it does is cable's just pulling it together and locking it in, and I'll show you that in a sec, but the way you get it apart is you just don't even pull, you just twist the stab back and forth like this, and then eventually you start to feel this sort of click, and you can see it how it's rocking from side to side. And I'll show you why it does that in a sec. Pull it out, no mallet necessary. So very easy to use. And then the front wing is also seated internally here. You want to zoom in, so it's basically the collar's a triangle, front wing has a triangle, and then the stabilizer also has a triangle. And so it fits in, basically locks the whole system into a place by expanding when the cable pulls down. And so then you can slide the front wing out without a mallet as well.
Whoa.
That's the biggest thing. And basically what's happening is you've got 2 mating surfaces that as they go together, they expand, right? And they expand into this collar that we have here. So out of the mold, it's set to sit right about here. Over time as it wears, as you use it more and more, all it's gonna do is slide in further and lock in more. So you basically have an unlimited amount of space relatively to use your foil and not have the foil start to get loose over time. Because you could use this foil for 20 years and wear out the carbon slowly from every time you set it up, but it's just gonna pull closer and closer together. As that happens, if the cable becomes too long, you simply unscrew this, and it will start to shorten this length of the Dyneema line that we have in here. We want our system to last and not get loose over time. And you can see here it's very easy to assemble in under 8 seconds and very rigid. There's no movement.
Yeah, can we see the rigidity?
Yeah. This is our high modulus mast, but you can see I'm pushing down with a lot of weight.
Yeah.
And in the torsion especially, there's almost 0 flex in it. So we're pretty excited about that. We're in a new factory, a lot better QC. We were able to kind of tailor the mast a bit differently with higher grade fibers in it as well that help quite a bit. Then on the bottom here, you probably saw this last year, but we have this thing called the RTS kit that comes stock on all of our foils. You basically unscrew it with your fingers, slide it off the back, slide the front forward, and then you just lift it up.
Oh, very cool.
So this takes under 8 seconds, this takes under 8 seconds. So it's pretty cool for setup. But in addition to the ease of use, because there's no screws on the bottom, there's no drag. So when you're riding it, it's a much smoother ride. I kind of think of it as like The Phantasm was riding like a Honda Civic in terms of the overall feel while you're riding, whereas the new system is much more streamlined. It kind of feels like you're riding in a Cadillac that just glides over the road.
Interesting.
So
yeah, I was kind of skeptical, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's incredibly strong as well. In testing it, we've been testing it for about 3 years. I've probably broken 50 masts with different layups. I'm very good at it because I've learned how to push against, like I basically wing out halfway with half the wing out of the water and then push on it as hard as I can. I can't break the mast anymore while doing that, so that's pretty exciting. It took us a while. We had to change the geometry internally a couple times to get enough carbon to keep that strength, but we're pretty excited about it.
That's very cool, honestly, really cool. Yeah, and you got new wings, right? The little bit changes on the sling wing. Is it still a sling wing? No, it's not. What's it called?
Yeah, the hand wings?
Yeah.
So we have the Sling Wing NXT and then the Sling Wing V5. And what we learned from using the Alula in our Sling Wing NXT that you saw last year, we've applied to our Dacron series of wings by creating stiffness in certain spots on the wing.
Cool.
To make it as locked in as possible.
Very cool. Well, thanks for the info, man.
Yeah, for sure, no problem.
All right, I'm here at North Mystic, and this is Uli, one of the designers of the wings, right?
Yeah, not the designer, the product manager.
Oh, product manager.
For Foils. So okay. My name is Uli Sommerlet, and what we got for you here is the Mode Pro 25. So it's an all-new design, evolution of last year's Mode Pro. I mean, the key thing about the Mode Pro is it has a massive wind range. You know, it has an NV45 airframe and strut, and over that you get so much rigidity or so much stiffness out of the airframe that you can hold a lot of power down. That is what gives this wide wind range. At the same time, we pair that with the Matrix canopy, which is a heavy-duty canopy, so it doesn't show any fatigue over time. It does not bag out. It's also much more resistant to like stabbing from a foil, which you always will have eventually and during your foil journey. We have a new panel layout, so we definitely make sure that we distinguish, or let's say distribute the load, in this case here from the end of the strut tip towards the wing tips. So this new canopy layout allows us that. We have quite a tight canopy, so it gives you really good bottom end grunt. Obviously it features our shift lock system, so you got the options here to put handles on, booms on, handles in different sizes. There's a 250, a 400, a 500 millimeter handle if you want to, or you can put on a full length boom. You can shift the handles in the position you like.
Well, I think one of the greatest features that you guys have maybe not even talked about as much, like for me, I just want a boom. I don't care, like a boom is fine. But you guys can put a GoPro mount on the back of your strut, right?
Yes, you could if you want to put a GoPro mount on the back of the strut. Something really cool and a lot of people don't know about is that we actually have little pedal mounts. So you can get bases like this that fit there and there. You can put your SEP pedal on and clamp that on. You go upwind, you deflate the wing, and then pack it down and take your pedal off, basically the wing, and then do a downwinder.
I mean, that to me is two really cool features, because who needs a power wing if you could just put your paddle on here and then you can go upwind? I mean, I'm sure this thing goes upwind like crazy.
For sure, it's way easier to get upwind. Obviously, you know, the tow wings, there's definitely a need for those as well, but it's a little bit different discipline. With this one, you can go downwinding on your own. You don't let's say you don't rely on somebody else to pick you up somewhere or need to sort of logistics. You just go upwind, deflate, and downwind to where you came from.
That's the main reason I haven't gotten into SUP. I just don't want to have to rely on other people. So I think that's a great idea. I heard there's also another mode coming out. Is that true?
Well, we got a Mode Ultra.
What's that story?
But that's more a race dedicated wing.
Yeah.
So it's meant to go fast. We already have that in the lineup. There's going to be a new version coming out of it in March as well. Let's say totally different animals.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people are getting into the racing, and so that's definitely something people are interested in. And it's still a single skin wing, right?
The current one, yes.
Yes. But it has a really tight canopy and a flatter profile. Canopy. Right?
That wing has our own canopy material that we make with the North Sails, developed together with North Sails together. So it's like a scrim material, super light, super stiff as well. Obviously, you got to be careful with with the maintenance of this wing. You got to roll it up, don't fold it, because it does not like to get folded at the same time all over again. But our bags are made for the entire strut length for that wing, so it's not a problem as well.
Very cool.
Also for the Mode Pro, obviously the bags are, as you can see, longer now, so you can put in a wing with the complete boom mounted into the bag. That's not a problem.
Oh, perfect. So who should get this new Mode Pro instead of the Nova? Because to me, the Nova looks really fun for freestyle and that kind of thing. Who should get which wing?
It's a little bit of a rider's preference. Obviously, the Mode Pro has the stiffer airframe, so it has a bit of a wider wind range, but it also has more grunt. Because the airframe does not flex away, you feel more power through your arms. So it's a bit grunty on your arms than the Nova Pro. From what I've experienced with customer feedback is that lighter weight riders prefer the Nova Pro over the Mode Pro, because for the Mode Pro, they feel too much power going through their arms. They're a bit overpowered. While the heavier riders, they say, let's say a normal wing flexes too much for them. We need more stiffness in the airframe because we can put more load through our foil system onto the wing, and therefore they swear going onto the Nova Pro because they believe that's where the sweet spot sits for them. They get that massive wind range, the top end for especially.
Gotcha. So maybe even like a casual racer, like someone who doesn't race but likes to go fast and rides with a harness.
Definitely
they
Nova Pro because it has the wider wind range. You can go. It's a bit flatter under the shape as well as the Nova Pro.
Awesome.
Another good feature we have on our wings for 25 now is, you can see here maybe, if you zoom in, you will find a QR code. And this QR code gets you to the North Locker Room. And in your North Locker Room, you keep all your gear. So we're building the system now, but it will get you access to a warranty system in the future. So if you have any problems with the product, you just scan the QR code. With that, we already have all the information of your product. Very easy for you to fill in a warranty claim if there's any issues. But furthermore, you're going to find user manuals, you're going to find the latest designer note videos, all linked into your locker room to your products.
That's awesome.
Another thing is also lost and found. Let's say even if the wing would drift off somewhere, you lose it.
It happens. It happens.
You scan the QR code. So we got the lost and found label on there. It makes the details available for your contact details if you have ever lost this wing. So if somebody finds it, it's an easy one to find the owner back.
That's a great idea. And you know what? Maybe we should all have that on wings, and we should tell the Coast Guard. And that way, when they scan it, they know that we're not drifting out to sea.
Yeah, it's a bit of an evolution.
We only do wing stuff, but I gotta say, these new North windsurfing sails are the coolest looking sails, and apparently they're 3D printed, so there's no like seams or so. I don't know what that means, but
yes, it is true. You could say it's 3D printed, but normally 3D printing is you put a layer on top of each other, and so they're not structurally very sound together. What happens here is you have a mold, a shaped mold for the sail, and then there runs a robot arm over the top basically with a tape laying machine. So it lays on a roll tape down, in this case carbon fiber tapes, and they create the sail by this 3D printer, laying down the tapes in the load direction we want. So other than, let's say, other windsurfing sails where you use an isotropic material that has, let's say, a defined load case in certain directions or in all directions the same, and which means you overspec in some areas where the loads are lower, because you need to cover for the worst case scenario, so your high load areas. With this one, you can just put the structural reinforcement where you need them the most and keep the overall weight lower, because in the areas where it does not matter, you don't need to go with X amount of material, you just go for the bare minimum.
That's so awesome. Almost makes me want to get on the slapper board again.
Well, this is a technology that has been for North sails, that what sets them apart from the rest of the industry and made them the #1 sail manufacturer over the world. And this is just triggered down to the windsurfing sails.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the info.
No worries.
You guys might recognize her. She's What a Flow on Instagram, right? She used to be a winger, but I haven't seen any winging lately. It looks like
it's been a long time, but I think I'm gonna go back to it this winter.
But you've been supping a lot, huh?
Yeah, a lot.
Are
Downwinding.
You just in love with that, or?
I just love it. I'm spending a lot of time doing short Malico runs in Maui. It's been a blast.
Very cool. Well, good to see you. Hope you have a good stay cool. It's so hot out here. So
yeah, hopefully on Friday we're gonna have some wind.
Oh, okay. Hopefully. All right. Good seeing you. I put up the poll on my Instagram of which brand people would want to hang out with, and co-winner code was one of the winners, and which was interesting. And you guys were leading till right at the end. So I'm here with Ben. You're one of the owners, right?
Yep, correct.
And I did a review of the 850S with the foil shop like a year or something ago, and absolutely love that foil. Haven't got on another one yet, but I know you guys have a bunch of really great stuff. Maybe you could show us around.
Yeah, no worries. It's funny you say the 850. That's the very first foil we built. Pretty much for 6 months, that's all us 4 owners ever had. So we had to prone it, we had to wing it, we had to downwind it. And after a few months of just doing that, we knew we were onto a pretty sweet thing, that one size could do everything. And as soon as we started scaling that foil up and down, we obviously found some magic little sizes and suited a lot of different demographics. Cool. So yeah, we can have a look at them.
Yeah, what's the latest and greatest?
The latest release as far as things go is the Plus mast. You've probably heard of it. It's our new ultra high modulus mast. And that comes in like a 75, 80 and 85. And basically that's just the stiffest mast we could possibly build.
Well, the other mast was pretty stiff because you guys have a pretty thick base plate, and I felt like it was really stiff. So this is stiffer than that?
Yeah, I mean the shape of our base plate and our tuttle is, it's engineered to be stiff, but we've added that, like the highest end material we can find to make this mast as well.
Nice.
So we can't make it any stiffer than that. So yeah, I hope people can enjoy that. Yeah, I mean it's not for everyone. Obviously it costs more. And the stock mast is great. They want that extra little bit. It's amazing.
Yeah, maybe bigger riders on bigger foils.
Bigger riders, bigger foils, and for me, obviously, I have access to it, so that's all I use.
Well, is that a 1300?
This is a 1300.
Is that the biggest foil you have in the range?
Right now, it is, but in about probably by the time you release this video, we were announcing a 1540.
Oh wow!
So a scaled up version of that, which is like the biggest foil we've done to date. That's great. Obviously based at, there's such a big community out there in Europe, in lakes, all these places, we're not super familiar with, that they keep crying out for these big foils.
Yep.
So the 1540S is gonna, people are gonna be stoked.
And do you guys do camber or concave in your foils? Or are they more of like a?
Yeah, we do. Yep. Yeah. Not crazy. I mean, some of the foils now have got quite a lot.
Yeah.
We've always had a certain amount in the section, really works well for us. We've got some prototypes with different stuff, which obviously we don't have out, but yeah, we've had the same sort of foil section for a while now on the S series, and for an all-round foil, it's super fun and fast downwind, but super surfy, and that's what we prone foil. So that foil section for that is great.
Well, I like that foil section because I think it's more efficient, and to me it feels like it's glidier and has a higher top end speed than when you have these really concave foils that are coming out.
Yeah, it's all a compromise. If you have a super lifty section, you can obviously use a smaller foil.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that has a downside, especially for sort of intermediate, beginners to intermediate, even like semi-advanced. Like once the foil gets really small, it gets a little bit harder to use, even if it does have big bottom end. It's just twitchy. It's a lot more. So it's horses for courses. You've got to think about that when designing the foil and what its purpose is going to be.
Yeah, I think it's hard. People want like a perfect foil, but I think you got to have a quiver. I think you got to have.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You had the 850S. That was the flagship, and then you went into the R series. Is that right?
Yeah. So the R series over here, and that's had obviously. I think when we released this, like pretty much as we were releasing it, we got third in Hood River here, and then a week later, James got first M2O. So, obviously that was a good start for this foil, and just the range and user friendliness of this foil, it's not just for the elite guys racing, it's for anyone getting into downwind,
Okay.
It's great to use, and also guys that want to pump, just an efficient foil. It's not going to surf as well as the S, but people that just love the glide, a lot of people foil for the glide,
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's the foil for that.
So are wingers using both the S and the R?
There's wingers out there that just want to cruise and glide, and that's for them. Like if I'm an 80-year-old guy just foiling around, I just want to glide around.
Yeah.
And that's the foil for that. If you're a young kid that just wants to shred, do big airs, all that stuff, then you're probably looking at these ones, like.
And what's the smallest S you guys have?
615.
Oh, is that thing fast?
Yeah, it's fast. yeah. And again, because we don't have crazy amounts of camber like some of them, the 615's speedy, and it's it's pretty forgiving at that high end. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'd like to try that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we get wind.
Yeah, right. I'd really probably like to try the 1300 and just see what your. Because I felt like the 850 had great low end, great glide. I can't imagine the pump and glide on the 1300.
Yeah, well, this guy here just brought the 1540 in. He's just trying to paddle up for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Which is obviously what that foil is ideal for. The other new product probably is the R series tails, which is the higher aspect tails.
Oh, they're new tails.
Yeah, they've been out a little while, but they're the most recent. So, and this size is super recent. Like, it's coming out with the 1540, so like next week. So they're more, like downwind, pumping, flat water focused, just efficient, maximum glide for least effort. That's what they're all about.
Yeah. Cool. Anything else you guys want to talk about, or?
For us to get more into that beginner level is probably the most exciting thing for us.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, it probably sounds weird. Like we froth on trying to surf and go fast, but it's exciting for us to see code get into that beginner market, and guys just learning to paddle up, learning to wing. We can put them on a big front wing. We got this huge tail, and they're just rock solid. And because a lot of people just thought we were all performance, and we kind of wanted to get rid of that stigma.
Well, no, I think it's really smart because a group I'm on Facebook is called Wingfoil for Big Dogs.
Yeah.
And it's all riders over 90 kgs, and some of them are like 120 kgs, or more.
Yeah.
And so a 1500 might seem crazy big to you.
Yeah.
But that might be a daily driver for someone that's that size.
100%.
So
there's a guy here before, and he said he was downwinding yesterday. It was pumping. He's like 1300 every day, no matter what.
Yeah.
Because like any smaller is just too hard for him.
Yeah, and we can as bigger riders, we can push pretty hard. Like we have Clint. I don't know if you know Clinton Yap. He's a big 250 pounds, and he rides waves. He shreds them on a big old Gulfport.
Yeah.
Because you, as a bigger rider, you can put more into it. So.
And you don't want to lose that. The feeling of foiling on a powered up foil. It's pretty beautiful feeling, to have all that power under your feet. So for me, a big foil is the 980, and a lot of my favorite sessions is when it's small and I got that 980 dialed in.
Absolutely.
You can really push on it on small waves, and it's a pretty beautiful feeling, and you dig out of any section. It's it's great.
Well, thanks for the info. You guys are really nice guys. I can see why my Instagram followers want to hang out with you guys.
Appreciate it.
Maybe we'll say hi to Josh later. Or someone,
Josh, you need to get Josh. He's the talking guy, and he's the Instagram guy. But we're always happy to chat.
Great. Well, thanks for the info, man.
No worries. Thanks.
Right. Later. Okay, I'm here with Jimmy from Sab Foil. I asked them to show us some new stuff. I think they have some new Balls Pro stuff, right?
Exactly. Hi, everybody. So, as you probably know, this year we launched a sort of different Medusa Pro, because we started with the Medusa Pro, and this year we introduced it in the market a Balz. Balz Muller is our brand ambassador, so let's say the face, the athlete face of the brand.
He's arguably the face of wingfoiling.
I honestly think the same. Next to be a really nice guy, he's a sport ambassador. Yeah. So I am lucky he's in my team. We introduced the Balz 909. I was just talking with a local rider that is his favorite front wing because it has a huge range. You can use it from, depending on your weight, starting from 14, and you can still ride it in 30 knots of wind. But we felt that we had the need to expand the line towards the strong wing, so making them smaller with two new front wings, October 9. The 808 and the 707, they are downsizing 150 square centimeter each, and they are naturally more dedicated to strong wind. What is the biggest difference between, for example, a 808 and, sorry, I can't hold both with one hand, and a 769, it's in the rake, so the Medusa Pro has more dietro, while The Balz line is flatter, as you can see. The other big difference is that the central cord is wider on Balz. The result of that is the Balz Pro has a bit more pop. It pops better in the jump. It has a very nice rebound for the new maneuver.
The combos.
The combos, exactly. And this combo causes it as less dieter and more cord. But at the same time, being flatter is also a bit faster.
Yeah, that seems good.
The dark side is that the Medusa Pro is, I would say, more wave oriented because it has a lot of drive. You probably know the difference between doing carving, so long, solid curve, and skate style. So both, they are very maneuverable, but one is made to make like a NASCAR, Indianapolis. You do the curve, but with a lot of drive. That's the Medusa Pro.
Nice.
You want to do more maneuver in a short place, in a small place, go for the Balz, and it's a bit faster.
Yeah, well, I think my friend Dominique, he's my Sab Foil rider. He's on the Medusa, and he's always going pretty fast already. Like if it's light wind, he's way faster than me. So it'll be interesting. Maybe we can get him to try the Balz and see if he goes faster.
Let's say the top end speed differs probably 2 to 3 knots.
Wow.
So if you have a top end speed of 25 on the Medusa 769, you will have a top end speed of 27.5, 28 on the Atos 8.
That's significant. Other thing, I'm curious. These new wings look great. This is like new this year, right?
Yes, they are totally new. I simply felt the need to show the brand. You know, you're in the water, you never see the foil, and we are foil specialists. Probably you notice the board.
Yeah.
But the thing that you see the most is the wing. We decided to enter the wing market. It took some time because since it is our first model, we want to be pretty sure we have something that represents our brand.
Sure.
And honestly, I think we are a premium brand, so we wanted a premium wing.
Yeah.
We decided to go for a new Dyneema material for the leading edge. Makes the wing super stiff, but also very, very light. Think about the 5.1 with the wishbone, with the boom instead of the handle. It's 2.4 kilos only. So really super light. It's not a specialistic wing. I would consider it as a free ride, fast free ride with a very good attitude for freestyle.
Yeah, I mean I can see it because you got the Dyneema leading edge. You have the Dyneema leading edge. You have a boom. You have extra long batting, so that probably, and it's already a tight canopy. So yeah, I think this.
We needed to add the batten and the trailing edge because we decided the trailing edge a bit loose to give that special feeling. But at the same time, if you don't put the batten, it flops.
Yeah, and your battens are twice as long as most of the battens, which I think is smart. I think it's going to make it a smoother ride for sure.
Let's say the first feedback, because we just launched it in the market, we only have until now 200 pieces in the water. The feedback, they are really very positive. Everybody points out that is a fast wing, plenty of, how do you say, maneuverability.
No, I believe it.
And everybody will notice immediately that it's so light in the air.
I think maybe the most important thing is it looks cool. No stupid looking wings, you know. I hate stupid looking wings. It's got to look cool.
No, it's our brand color, black, red, and white.
It looks cool.
So, and hey, we are Italian, so good looking is an important part.
That, you know what? Italian women are absolutely, and men are good looking too, you know.
Also new for this year is...
Oh, you want one more? Okay.
Yep. Pay attention. We launched the Torpedo that has a huge success. We're gonna keep it in the line, under 20, under 10, 190 liters, so four sizes. But now we launched the new mid-size, that is a sort of hybrid board between the torpedo and a normal wingboard.
Oh, cool.
If the torpedo was a hybrid board between a normal board and a real pure downwind, this one is again an hybrid board in between a torpedo and a normal board. It means shorter, bit wider. We decided to design the board not so narrow. I know narrow board, they looks very nice, but they are really friendly only for pro riders.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You know, Gwen is entering. Gwen Le Tutour is one of the master in pumping and downwind. It's a pro rider. He can ride that beautiful board, 18-inch wide. But it's Gwen. It's not me. We decided to design the board 22, the 95 liter, and 21, the 80 liter. Not a compromise. It's simply a board to have fun.
Sure.
Fun. It's a really nice board to ride. And everybody can jump on it and get satisfaction.
Do you know the weight on it or no?
This one is 5.2.
Oh, wow.
80 liters.
Oh, wow. That's
and
great.
the 95 is 5.9.
That's fantastic. Good.
I think you can grab it if you want. So.
Oh yeah, that's super. I'm not even grabbing it. I'm actually, that was just my fingertips and it came up really light.
Yeah,
so that's amazing.
It's a light board.
Yeah. Wow.
And we build them in Italy.
Awesome.
Everything we do and made in Italy.
It's fantastic. I want to go someday. Maybe you guys will let me stay with you and I can go to the Amalfi Coast.
Yeah, you can come visit the factory, and Robert, you can do a nice video how we produce, what we do, all the technology stuff we have inside the factory, all that CNC machine, our worker, because manpower is the most important factor in our factory, because every worker is a professional. So.
All right, guys, let's start a GoFundMe for Rob to go to the Sab Foil factory. All right, well, thank you so much, Jimmy. It was great to meet you.
Great to meet you, too. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Take care.
I'm here with Steve from Stinger Boards. I've seen him on Instagram, but I've never gotten up close to one. And could you just walk me through the line?
Sure, happy to. So, Robert, what we've got going on here is we do a foil drive series where we've got a 5'2", 55 liter, got a 5'5", 65 liter, and a 5'8", and a 75 liter for bigger guys like myself for the foil drives. Then what we have in the Stealth series, and we have downwinders, that's how it started all, and then 7'10" up to 8'2", anywhere from 125 to 135 liters. Now the hottest, latest is that people are after a mid. They want something in between a high performance Wingfoil board and the downwinder so they can wing it and they can paddle. So here in the gorge, this is what it's made for. Where this, we find the longer ones are on a Wahoo and stuff like that. I've got 14 different North Shore lifeguards riding my stuff over there. And in Hood River, now they want a little shorter because the wave cadence is shorter. And then everybody who's been riding on the square trays, they're getting a lot better for wingfoiling. And now the Stealth series offers the narrower, the 19.5 wide, 6 foot, whether 75 liter or an 85 liter board. So you've got an array of different boards for different abilities, and basically it's whether it's foil drive or high performance or mid or light wind downwind.
Nice. I mean, they're really beautiful boards. I love the nose shape, and yeah, just the whole outline is real nice. Are you hand shaping these?
So yes, these are all done by CNC machine. I design all of it in Whistler, and then we refine the shapes, whether it's here in Hood River or on Oahu with our different athletes. But basically all the shapes are done by us hand. CNC cuts it, and then I finish the hand shaping, and then they're made with 3K carbon and S-glass over top.
Gotcha. So lightweight, but
very lightweight,
and durability.
Strong, yes, because the S-glass very strong yet light.
Nice. That's so cool. Yeah, I know. So you also got a couple of foils here. Is that your own brand? Or?
That's our new high aspect with the high modulus mass, and we got a wide body fuselage to handle the high aspect foils now because the torque values that are going on. So we had to come up with that and redesign that. We offer it in a 750 millimeter or 75 centimeter, and also in an 85. in the full carbon, so it's nice and light, but you got the aluminum fuselage, a couple different tail wings to play with.
Awesome. So if people want to hit you up on Instagram, what's your Insta?
Stinger Boards and Foils.
Perfect.
Simple.
Well, thanks for the info. Boards look really nice.
Thank you, Robert.
All right. I'm here with Bobby. I wing with his brother a lot.
Yep.
Hey, H-Dip. Bobby's an awesome prone foiler and now sup guy, right?
Yeah, doing some downwind and stuff. I do some demo stuff in the LA area for Axis. And yes, anyone hit me up at bobbykeyzfoils with a Z on Insta. And yeah.
And you also have a cool music Insta. What's that?
I do. Yeah, that's just Bobby Keys. And yeah, that's a lot of my music stuff there. And yeah, all that fun stuff.
Very cool. It's good to see a friendly face.
Yeah. Cheers.
Hi.
Wait till I start recording.
Oh, yeah. Hi. Welcome to, what is it?
It's AWSI.
No, but your thing.
Oh.
Wingman. What is it, Wingman?
You know I'm going to put this whole thing in uncut.
No, so just say it. What is it called, Wingman?
It's Wingman Foil Club.
Okay. Hey everyone, it's Sirena with the Wingman Foil Club, and we are stoked to be here at AWSI with all the pros and all the brands, and it's a beautiful day, and stay tuned for more.
And how do we know each other?
We met in Pistol River for epic riding conditions. Shh.
Don't
Secret
tell
spot.
people about it.
No. Secret spot on the coast.
Hey, what did you used to do? You used to throw some contests, right?
Yes, I used to put on back in the day, the PKRA Mexico stop. And now lately I've been putting on the Maui Kite and Wing Fest, which is coming back in 2025. So stay tuned for that.
So when are you going to put together a event for winging?
Yeah, we'll do a wing division in the Maui Kite and Wing Fest.
Awesome.
We'll keep you guys posted.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Good seeing you, Serena.
Thank you. Cheers.
All right, I'm here at the Armstrong tent with Ron and Sierra, LA locals, right?
Yes.
And they tow a lot, but now they're both kind of into the wing as well.
Yeah.
And I've
addicted. You might say.
Ron had a pretty sick handle pass attempt, and then Sierra I've been seeing doing all kinds of crazy stuff on the toe, like laying down, and I don't even know. But yeah, what's your Instas?
I am foiled for life, and she is.
It's Sierra Marie. It's Sierra Marie.
It's Sierra Marie. Cool.
That's Sierra Marie.
Awesome. You guys want to show me a couple of things?
Yeah.
Like what's been stoking you lately?
I am in love with the new 140 dart tail. It's just way sleeker, narrower, and it gives you the speed that you need. We always rode the Surf, which is still a great tail, but you can kind of see the difference.
Yeah, the Surf 205.
Yeah, this one's just a lot faster. Skidders, anybody that's worried that's kind of small for like freestyle type tricks and stuff where you're skidding and just trying to get wingtips out but still have a feel in the water, works great. What do you like about the lines here?
What do I like?
What about you, Sarah? Any boards or
I was
foils?
about to say my MA1000.
Here, maybe take the microphone.
I really like the MA1000, which is, let me find it. Where's it at? It's got to be, these are the MAs, right? 1225.
That's it.
This is it, right here. So it's small, so it's turny, but it still gives you that pop-up, that relaunch when you do the airs and stuff. You can get the wingtips out on the turns, and it's the perfect size for somebody that's a little bit smaller, perfect lift.
Somebody that has not a $180,000 to $200,000 boat, but
Yeah.
a middle-sized wave.
Yeah.
It works great.
Yeah, it's
got
my
plenty
favorite.
of push, but you can still get airs and rebounds.
Yeah, the relaunches on it
Yeah,
are great.
MA wings, the
Yeah.
relaunches are insane.
Honestly, they look like what I would ride if I was riding Armstrong. I do like a little freestyle surf. They look like my kind of thing.
The MAs are where it's at behind the boat
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, so got the little turn up, so you can get the wingtips out and kind of do
Yeah.
all those tricks as well.
Yeah, you can skid, you can
Yeah.
jump them.
Very cool.
Turn them.
That's a really hard question because we're hooked on it all right now.
Yeah, right?
Such new stuff. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it all.
You guys need to come out to Leo one day and ride with, George Clout.
Yes.
Riley and Leon, they're just ripping it up. They're 17 years old, and they're in it every day. They're on Armstrong. You guys got to come out someday and ride it with them.
Awesome.
All right.
Love and invite.
All right. Great to see you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm here with Taylor from Duotone, and probably the leading wing brand, maybe in the whole market.
Yes, sir.
So I think people are going to want to know what's new this year.
Yeah. So the easiest one is with our new units right here. We could look at our original construction. If you notice, units never had a boom before. So we're giving you the option of either handles or a boom, which is going to increase the rigidity of the wing as well as making it lighter. So by giving you the option, you're able to pick in the beginning. You can see that we have the exact same access points, whether it's going to be for handles or for a boom. So nothing really has to change in terms of the connection, how strong it is, or how much fun this wing.
Is it backwards compatible, the boom?
Yep. So you could go either one. You could choose a wing, or excuse me, you could choose handles, or you could choose a boom on it. The other one that we introduced is our SLS, and that's going to be right down here. We have our original construction, and we have our known D-Lab, but in the middle, we made an SLS. The SLS is going to have a Pinta TX leading edge. You see in the middle right here, we added a Lula for strength. Same options, boom or handle in the middle. And this is also what's called Concept Blue, which means this canopy is undyed. Meaning it's easier on the environment. If you've ever seen the dyeing process, it's pretty tough to get rid of all those chemicals. So we decided to make a wing that's completely undyed. And that's going to be our middle ground on this one.
Okay.
For people, when they look at it, and maybe the full Lula D-Lab is a little bit too expensive, being at about $1,900 to $2,000, you're able to jump into something like this, equivalent of about $13.99.
That looks great.
It really is. It's a tight canopy. It's a lot of fun. And with the boom, what we do find with it is it's lighter and stronger, because now you have full rigidity down the strut right here, and it's going to be much lighter than 200.
So is the slick just gone now?
No, right now we're focusing on the unit, and we're adding more features to the unit.
Okay.
And we're going to see where the market wants to go with the slick, because the slick is still a very popular wing for a lot.
Yeah, I was a slick SLS rider. I would still ride them, but I popped all mine and I couldn't re-up. But that's a great wing. It's a little bit more freestyle oriented than the unit, right? The unit's a little bit more wave and...
Yeah, and what we were seeing is originally we came out with the unit to be a wave, but it has now absorbed itself into kind of the all-around. Racers love it. Freestyle guys love it. So that's why we added the option for the boom.
Gotcha.
Because that's going to be something for the freestyle guys to go on.
So you think I could do the same tricks on the unit as I could on the SLS?
Absolutely.
Or?
Yeah, you're going to have more grunt, higher pop with this one. It's going to be interesting to see where the slick lands, but we're going to let the market decide what they want to do with the slick. We still see them selling. We're going to keep them on.
Interesting. Okay, well, yeah, I love you guys' wings. I think you guys were like the original tight canopy, which, man, it makes a huge difference. Anything else you want to tell me about or no?
Yeah, so all of our wings before had a Mod 3 canopy, which is going to give us better rigidity in multiple fashions, not just the age of the wing, it's not going to bag out, but also for torsional stretch. This is our upgraded Mod 3S canopy. So it's a little bit lighter and a little bit stronger. So once again, just one more step, you know, every small step every year to just make really a superior wing.
It's super sick. I hope someday I can afford to get back on a Duotone. All right, fam, it is brutally hot. I think tomorrow's gonna be even hotter. There's like no wind. Oh man, it's really, really brutal. Got another 2 hours of videos today, and then hopefully tomorrow we can just get in the water some. I'm here with Kai. We've had a couple of sessions at Lake Paris, and I was follow camming him doing some huge boosts, some backflips, and one of the really good local riders. What's going on, man?
Just having fun. We're here at AWSI at the Cabrinha booth, helping them set up.
What are you holding?
A little 1 meter. It's a little toy.
Can you show us a trick? Maybe clip the mic to you and maybe show us a
yeah, let's see.
Show us something. This is the new Air wing, right? This is made for like kids and for people who want to.
Yeah. It's got like, it's pretty simple design. You know, probably with this one, if it was windy enough, you could land like a super spin or something, you know? Yeah, it's a fun one.
How much wind do you think it would take for you to get on foil with that thing?
It's got to be like 50 maybe.
Oh, you think? That
50
much?
plus. Maybe with my setup I'm on right now or something, with my like 40-liter board and stuff, you know.
Oh yeah.
But if I was on a little bit bigger board, it could be fun.
You know what?
Just cruise around.
Let's take a break from tech talk, and I want you to show me how to do a 720. Okay?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because I'm struggling. I can do the Flocka, no problem.
Yeah.
But it seems like when you guys are throwing 720s, 1080s, you're doing something different with the wing to where it stays more like it kind of goes around. Whereas me, it's doing this, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I see what you're talking about.
What are you guys doing?
So
What's
like
the trick?
pretty much, I'm like riding up, you know, edging up into the wind, and then I like jump, and then I pretty much like turn into the wind and let it like the wing like almost like push me a little bit, if that makes sense.
So are you getting backwinded through it?
Yeah, it's like you kind of want to like jump and then go into the wind, and then it like helps you like when you get the wind pushed on your wing, it like helps almost a little bit. And then for the next one, you just come here, and then it's like a over the head spin kind of.
Oh really?
Yeah. So it's a little different. Just the more up into the wind you go, height works too.
Yeah, that's my problem. I'm fat, so I don't get that high.
And spotting your landing works pretty good too, you know, even though sometimes it doesn't work too good, but a good wave helps a lot too.
Yeah. So when you're doing your 360s or 720s, what are you doing with your arms? Are you keeping your left hand in, your back hand out, or what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm kind of like really guiding it with my backhand.
You're pushing it?
Yeah, so like I'm pretty much like, here's like the motion, like I jump, upwinds, first one, and then I'm like right here, and then I kind of like look for a sec, and then the next one I like spin it like above my head, and I kind of land right here, like pushing it through kind of.
Cool.
And then gaining the power to pop back up.
Awesome. Well, thanks for the tips. I gotta try it. I gotta get that 720 down.
Yeah, you'll get it. Yeah.
All right.
You're looking good out there.
What's your Insta so people can follow?
Kai_Ziggy_Potter.
Awesome. Great to see you, man.
Great to see you too.
I'm here with Damien from Reedin, and I asked him what he wants to show me this year, and I think he's got something really cool to show you.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one here. It's our Hypernatural SSD. Last year we only stopped at 6 meters, but I'm in San Diego, so we don't have too much wind, so I'm excited about the big wing. So it now comes in 7.2, 8.2 and 9.2, and it's a 3-strut design. I really worked on all my paneling and profile to make sure that I'm going in barely any wind. What's interesting is an Alula frame with a mix of Alula Gold in the center, Alula Aris on the wingtips and on the strut, and I got a lighter material even for the mini strut, so the wing is really light, super stiff, and it really gets me and probably most people going in barely any wind. Has our super light carbon handles, which are very comfy. We got the pistol grip. It's super stiff, which means that you're really efficient in pumping. And when you get overpowered, which you probably do in an A2 pretty quick, you can still hold it really well because it's not gonna go starting to bag out and like really become out of control. It's very balanced. Probably my most used wing for me is 7s and 8s because I'm 180 pounds and I ride in light wind a lot, so that's perfect for you folks in Southern California like me or all over the world on lakes. And there's a lot of interesting feature on that wing, but I don't want to be too long. But
yeah, no, it looks great. It's so big, I'm having to step back. But I know a lot of big riders, and they love the big wings. This looks like one of the more high-performance big wings now, because you have that, like you said, it's a Lula here, but it's also a Lula on the outside. People might think it's Dacron, but no.
It is a Lula. It is super light. This material is actually lighter than the Gold Lula. So we actually have the wingtips that are lighter, but it's still super stiff. And really the main stiffness is here in the center. And I have my construction that I do on most of my wings, which is extra layers of material inside here to really make sure that the wind doesn't bend in the center, so it's very efficient. And what I was saying earlier, you can see the paneling of the material. It's all vertical seams. I don't have any of the horizontal seam that stretch over time. All the load is really well spread towards the whole wing thanks to those seams and the orientation of the material. It's like sail making, like you would see on a sailboat.
The canopy looks pretty tight. Can you flap it a couple of times for us?
Yeah, it's hard to get the big wings very tight, and that's one thing I worked on to make sure that we had proper tension on the wings.
Yeah.
but it's definitely very efficient. Like I get going in barely any wind with that wing.
Nice.
And we have the 9.2 for the guys bigger than me. You know, the 200 something pound guys bigger than the 9.2. And one thing I do is the arc is higher the bigger the wing, so the wing doesn't get in the water as much because you have a little more arc, and also the aspect ratio is a little smaller on the bigger wings because it just reduces the wingspan, because the whole goal is to get going, you know?
Yeah, I think it looks great. I think it's a great option for those bigger riders, the big dogs on Facebook. They were actually just asking me, what's new at AWSI? This is something that they might want to check out if you're a 250-pound rider.
Yeah, the 9.2 is perfect for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I ride the 9.2 also in barely any wind, but I have to admit sometimes I scare myself in no wind. It's so funny. Like I'm just phoning myself out because I'm just getting so much powered up by just having so much surface.
Nice.
But I'm definitely going in like barely any wind. I've been riding the bay, Mission Bay, and I swear no one was showing up. I was the only one out because it was so light, no one even came. And that's, you know, the light wind capital.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah, we might need it tomorrow. So.
yeah, for sure.
But thanks for the info.
Oh man, of course.
All right, maybe we'll get together in San Diego one day.
Yeah, we got to do it this year.
All right,
for sure.
Cheers. A couple more friendly faces from LA. This is Foiled My Plants. God, all these puns.
Yeah.
We did a great downwinder on the Progression 170 video, and then you've also done Catalina to Long
Catalina
Beach.
to Cabrinha I did on the Art 899 and one of Andy's downwind boards.
Yeah, so this is Andy from Proper
Foil.
Proper Foil.
Foil
Yeah.
boards.
Yeah, that's your Insta, Proper Foil?
Foil.
Great boards. I haven't had a chance to try one yet. I don't know why. No one's offered me. So. But cool. You guys got out yesterday?
Yep. Yesterday got in, spent 7 hours in the water.
Yeah, just basically right off the plane, right into the water. Didn't get out until after sunset. It was getting dark and windy.
Nice.
Jack in the Box breakfast.
Oh, that's good. So if someone wants to check out your boards, they go to your Insta, they hit you up for a custom board, that kind of thing?
Yeah, most of my stuff's custom. I'm fairly small operation, so it's not like I got a big store to just offer, but custom is pretty much the majority of it.
Awesome.
Everything from prone to downwind, getting into some wing boards.
Yeah. Trying to cover all the disciplines.
Nice. Well, hope you guys get a little more water time, and I'll try, maybe when I'm back in LA, we should do a video.
Yeah, okay.
All right, I think that's it for day one. There's still like another hour, but it's too hot. I'm gonna go back to the campsite, try and get some shade, maybe take a shower, and hopefully tomorrow will be a little better. We got a lot of interviews done. Try and get everyone finished tomorrow early, maybe, and then get on the water. Gotta get on the water. It's too hot. It's too hot. All right, we stayed up till like 2 a.m. editing footage, and we accidentally put the headphones in where my bear spray had exploded, so my ears were just like on fire all night. Beautiful morning at Viento, and they should have just held the wind sports convention here this year because it's windy. Look at all the people already here. It's only like 9 in the morning. Everyone trying to get it before it goes away. Let's go walk down to the water and check it out. Yep, looking pretty good. East wind. It's the great thing about staying at Viento. Sometimes it has wind when nowhere else has wind. The only downside is the trains are insane. It's pretty tough to sleep here without earplugs. They come through honking and blowing. It really sounds like they're going right through your tent. But yeah, Viento is the place to be today. All right, we're at Uni. There's Dom, we said hi to earlier, and this is Eric.
Eric Geiselman, team rider for Unifoil.
What's your Insta? I've seen it, but I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm just Eric Geiselman, my name, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, pretty much this year, new one we're releasing is the Progression 100. This is out now with the Arntson line. This is a part of Eric Arntson's Progression line. So for my weight, this has been like my driver in surf prone. At home, we have pretty dismal surf, about the waist high range, the chest high, and this for me is just kind of my go-to everything surf wing at the moment. Yeah, it's got great low end, the top end, it handles really nicely, and I would say the turning from this to the other 3. They all are pretty balanced. This one's just obviously has less range or aspect, so you just get a tighter turn and just cleaner arcs, it feels like. So it's definitely just has like an overall cleaner, faster feel.
It looks sick. I mean, I'm a big fan of the 125. That to me is the best unifoil right now. This thing just looks like a little bit flatter rake. A
little flatter for the speed, right?
Yeah.
So, and then, and even in the foam, you're able to you can bleed speed and come up through foam and get release. Really cool release because it's flatter. So you get the slides going. I've been finding kind of decoding the air attack with it. So it's awesome wing around for basically your prone, smaller stuff. And you can tow with it too. It's great. It's really reactive with the short fuse. And I ride a 0 shim with the 13.5 progression.
That sounds right, yeah.
For me, that's a pretty good blend.
Yeah, the progressions don't need like much tail to me.
No,
you know?
no, totally. And like I'm finding more now, just shortening up the fuse game is really lighting up the wings. So that's coming too as well. We'll have shorter fuses in the line dropping soon. I'm riding it paired with the 83, kind of their katana. That we have a proto that will be coming out with stiffer, the high modulus carbon soon. But and then the Progression 800 as well, which is this guy over here, if you can get visuals. But this in the surf is going to be your stiffest for basically altering your wing to turn, getting it to react. And then these guys are coming out soon. This is a proto, and then the katana. But these are top end speed. If you want to go fast, I would go for this. And I like the taller mast, as tall as I can go, just for clearance over waves, because we're riding beach break.
Okay.
So that pair with that, short fuse for me, 13.5, feels really good.
Yeah, and the proto mast looks. I heard it's not just stiffer, but it also looks thinner and a better taper.
Yeah, definitely. Everything's just really refined, you know? They're starting to look like just more attention to detail to get these things to react the way you want them to. And my feels, I just want to get surfier, tighter in the pocket and stuff in this. But this across the board would be a great wing for winging or really fast downwinding if you have the conditions for it, you know?
Yeah, you're talking about it for prone, but to me, that looks like a Santa Cruz big wave, just absolutely
ripping,
streaming down the face.
Yeah, and like a 180 guy, this is going to be probably their small wing, you know, in that realm. I always kind of scaled off the weight, right? 5 pounds makes the difference. So just looking at that, I'm about a 165 rider, 6'1". I can keep this up in our conditions fairly for pretty long rides. Like 3 minutes is like an average. So it's pretty wild, you know?
No, I believe I'm 200 pounds and I can pump the 125 as long as there's any momentum.
Yeah, it likes the momentum. It just feeds off momentum, right?
And winging, you don't need. You have the wing, you know what I mean? So you got that anytime you need it.
Right.
So I think that thing is going to absolutely rip. And I think smaller riders, like when I say smaller, I mean like under 170.
For sure.
I think they could just use it as probably just their only wing if they live anywhere with wind.
Definitely.
Is my guess. But I'm going to demo it with maybe Patrick, and I want to see if I can break 30 miles an hour on it.
Right.
Because I've done 28 on the 125, but I think that thing will easily do 30.
You'll be happy with this.
Especially if we get some skinny tails.
Yeah, it's coming. Just stay tuned. Coming soon.
Cool, man.
But yeah, man.
Oh, thanks for the info. Also, these new boards look great. That's the Nimitz, right?
Yeah, this is the Nimitz line. Running, I believe, 710, 7.7, 7.5. And I was riding here. It's 100 liter 7.5. I started on this first timer, was able to get up first day. So it was epic. I was humbled, but I was it basically made me hooked, and now another rabbit hole of foiling, right? So the boards are really insane.
Sick. Well, thanks for the info, man, and
man.
hopefully we get to ride together sometime.
Appreciate it. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Those are just the old tails and a really short new fuse that they're talking about livening things up. There's that proto mast on the left, high modulus, skinnier, looks pretty sick. And then there are some other things in the works. We'll get to that eventually. All right, back at the Blue Planet booth. We had a great talk with them last year. I love Robert and his podcast, and done some really cool stuff. And this is Dan over here out of New Zealand, right? Yep. I don't know if we can hear you on the mic, but so what's new this year, Robert?
Well, I mean, we're back here again for the second time and just brought our new boards, our new wings. So, you know, the wings are brand new. We don't even have them in stock yet, but happy to show you what we've been working on, you know.
Absolutely,
So,
yeah.
And by the way, I like your YouTube channel too. The Wingman stuff is cool.
Oh, thanks,
good
man.
job.
I last year got a lot of questions about the Wing Racer, which I think the one we talked about last year.
Yeah, this one here, yeah. Last year was kind of my one-off prototype. That was the original board. Now we have it available as a production board, and it's still the board I use for all the racing and stuff. Like I did the Maui to Molokai race, the Molokai to Oahu race on this board, races on Oahu. One of the cool things is that it has both a tuttle and a plate mount, you know, full strong box. So for those people that like to use the Mike Slab, I think Mike Slab are the only ones who still use the tuttle, but
I think Mike Slab is the only one winning races, so I think you have to have a tuttle, right?
Yeah, you kind of have, like, they're definitely good foils. I mean, there's some other companies now that make fast foils, but they're usually prototypes that you can't just buy, you know. So probably the Mike Slabs are the fastest foils you can buy. And what I find, just this shape, it just works. It gets you up on foil almost as easily as a longer, that kind of downwind board, like the 7.6 downwind board. You know, in light wind, you know, with that extra length, maybe it's a little bit faster, but this one is very close to the same speed. And then with that wider flat tail, it's just, you can kind of push off of it a little bit. So the takeoff speed is really good, and it takes off in really light wind, even with a faster, smaller foil. As long as you have enough wing power to get a little bit of move forward momentum, you can pop up on foil and get going. And then, you know, once you're flying on a small, fast foil, you're going to be really fast, you know.
I completely agree with that train of thinking. Like, I think that the hard edges and then the long, flat surface with enough volume to float you, I think that, and having something to push off with, like you're saying, I can pump up on foil really well with those kinds of shapes.
Yeah.
And I like it because it's a little bit more stable as well, because you're getting a little bit more of that surface area. I know everyone loves the displacement holes, but personally, that's my preferred shape.
Yeah.
So even having boards that are, you know, got sharp edges, sharp rails, etc., having the foil box at that position actually enables you to basically be comfortably standing when you're actually trying to take off. You don't end up with the tail sinking too much, and it's the same on these.
You want? Yeah, let me give you the mic.
Yeah, maybe we pass the mic back and forth so we can hear you.
So as I was saying, with the Wingmaster V3s, which we're really taking this concept and encompassing the best, I guess, the best factors of it, where we've got a board that is narrower, has sharp rails at the back, they smooth out a bit at the front, but generally flat. Well, it's flat basically, sort of from the handles all the way back. But again, where the foil boxes are, really make a difference when you're actually trying to basically grab wind and pump up on foil. You've got a nice, smooth area to be able to take off on plane, and I think that's definitely something that makes quite a big difference to the way that these boards perform.
Yeah,
and it's the same with the smaller one as well. It's
so these are two new models here, or?
Robbie, you carry on with the models there.
Let's wait for that. Okay, yeah.
The announcing gets it's not for me.
So what Dan was saying, basically the volume distribution, you know, like I've seen some boards have really thin noses, or like, you know, and then like you end up sinking the nose or whatever. So what's really important on any board really is that, you know, where you're standing when you're foiling is also where you want the flotation to be, so you don't have to move your feet around to get from, you know, planing or sitting on the water to being up on foil. You want the volume to be perfectly balanced and the foil to be balanced. So that's what Dan was saying, which
it looks excellent.
These are Wingmaster. It's our third version of the Wingmaster. Similar concept to you know, just a little bit narrower, longer, full rails, a little bit of concave on the deck, and then relatively small, flat bottom. We don't have all the stuff in the tail like some companies have, like the chisel tail or whatever, or like step deck and stuff like that. I find it's kind of just a gimmick. It doesn't really help you much. The wide flat tail just seems to work really well for kind of pushing off the water and coming up on foil. So
I agree.
Sometimes simple is better, actually.
I agree completely.
Yeah.
Just like I talk about with kiteboarding, you know, we had the pickle tails, the asymmetric tails, and then in the end, what do all kiteboards look like now? Just a rectangle, you know.
Right. We're just joking around too, like the mid-length prone boards now, it's kind of almost like we're going back to the early days of foiling when people were taking shortboards and putting a foil box on the shortboard. Kind of the new mid-lengths look almost a little bit like, you know, it's like blown up surfboards, really.
I'm the same way. So do you want to go show us the new wings? Because that looks pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure. We also have these boards, but that's kind of more stand-up paddle stuff, but you don't really cover that too much, yeah?
Not really. I went on a date the other day and we went stand-up paddle boarding, but that's about the only time I've been.
So let's go talk about the wings, yeah. Pretty stoked about the new wings. This is our new, the Super Fly wing. This is a 4-5 size. These are actually not in stock yet. This is our next year's model, but we're going to have these available for pre-order soon, and we're going to have a discount available for people that want to pre-order one, and then we're going to have it available late this year or early next year. Basically, the concept is kind of compact shape, high tension in the canopy. This is not even fully inflated right now, but you can see how it has like a really nice shape to it even when it's not powered up. You know, there's really no wind at all. And then we went with a full boom, like full length boom. We tested the 2 handles system. I just find being able to grab it anywhere you want is just a big advantage. You ride it one-handed if you want, grab it anywhere. When you're tacking, you don't have to look where to grab it. You can do all kinds of spin moves.
Are you trying any of the one-handed tricks?
Jumping, you know, I hurt myself a couple of times jumping, so I've been kind of laying off on the jumping and focusing more on wave riding and you know, not well actually. So here in Hood River, I've been doing some crazy jumps, but
that will come out on a video.
But when I watch some of the kids, I'm like, okay, I can't even compete with that.
Oh no, I can't either.
I like jumping, and it's cool to get airtime and come down softly, but you just have to be careful. You know, it's easy to come down too hard and hurt yourself, or come down at a bad angle, or hit your board, hit your foil, and stuff like that. So it's definitely it's kind of a young man's game. I'm getting to the age where I probably have to be a little bit more careful.
So the reason I ask is because I've been working on the back mobs and the palaus, and you need the boom.
Yeah.
I've got webbing tied between my 2 handles right now, and I'm doing the tricks. You taught me how to do the flacas, with your video, so that's why I bring it up.
Yeah, and that's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, but even the flacas, I don't do that much anymore. So
you're gonna be one of those old racer guys. You just every year you show up to M2O and
like Alan Cadiz is kind of my idol. He's still doing it all, but he's like, I don't jump anymore. So I'm like, maybe I should do that too.
Sweet. So the other thing to mention as well is the new panel layout. We've put a lot of thought into how the panels have been shaped, designed and cut. So to minimise the stretch. So ideally, you don't want panels like that, because of the fact that they will stretch over time. So there's been a lot of thought put into how they've been cut.
Yeah, no, it looks good. I mean,
basically the seams don't stretch as much as the material itself. So every time you have a seam, it kind of keeps the material from stretching as much, you know. So that's the idea behind having these horizontal seams, and then more the diagonal seams, and then the vertical seams. So
having a step in them as well, which stops. It sort of breaks things up.
Great. I mean, I'm going to kind of miss the alien eyes a little bit, but it's a beautiful wing, and I enjoyed the way that as the alien, right, that I tried last year. Eli or someone ripping on these out in Hawaii, is that right or no?
Yeah. So we've been testing kind of the progression of the different prototypes and stuff over the last 6 months or so. You know, it's been a work in progress, and it was kind of interesting because we kind of changed some of the wing profile shape and so on, and try to make things better, change the diameters and stuff like that. And then we felt like the alien wing still was superior in a lot of ways, you know, to that new shape. So we kind of went back to the alien wing profile because that one worked really well. So the alien wing is still very much a good wing, and this one's actually pretty similar to it. Some of the geometry of it.
The wingtips, the wingtips a bit.
The wingtips are refined.
What's the price point going to be like on that? Do you know?
Around like depending on the size, obviously, but I think it's between like $900 and $1,000.
That's great.
Yeah, so it's a good price point. And we just went with the regular Dacron material for the leading edge and stuff. And you know, we use them a lot in waves, so we don't want a wing that's super fragile or easy to get damaged. The bladders are pretty thick and strong, so it's not a super lightweight wing, but it is lightweight and easy to manage And then another reason why we went with the long handle boom is that it saves some connection points and saves a little bit of weight on the center strut.
I honestly don't care that much about weight. Everyone makes such a big deal about it, but unless I'm on like a 7 meter, and my 7 meter is heavy.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever with it. I'd rather it be durable.
Right.
And like I said, once I put a camera on the end of mine, so it weighs like an extra pound. You know, like.
Yeah. No, and yeah. So I mean, I would say definitely the shape and the performance trumps the weight any day. You know,
it does.
Like
to
if
me.
you have a super light wing, but it's not good, it doesn't have good geometry or good performance, then it's like forget about it. It's not worth the extra weight saving, and then obviously also more fragile. You know, another thing that I want to mention is like center strut is a little bit lower, so the handle and the center strut kind of when you're luffing it. It creates kind of a lower center of gravity, which makes the wing fly more stable, less likely to tip over. Like if you, when we tried the prototypes that just had the like a smaller center strut and it was lower, it didn't have that same stability. So that's one thing that I kind of realized that's kind of important to have kind of the lower center of gravity when you're luffing the wing.
You're the first person I've heard talk about that, and it's it actually makes a lot of sense because when I'm luffing with my getting footage. Sometimes I raise the wing up to get a better shot, and it's absolutely, I want to pull it down, but I can't because I won't get the shot. But you're the first person I've heard mention that, so that's a really cool point.
Yeah, cool. Another thing is that we messed around with was the wingtips a little bit. We actually turned them in a little bit more, like this is like an extra angle we put in here. And like when you're just like starting, getting up on foil, you know, it just keeps that wingtip from touching, especially on the bigger wings. If you, like some of the models have really wide wingtips, so a lot of times when you're starting, you have to hold it like this to keep it from touching on the water, you know, like hold it at a pretty high angle, and then really what you're doing is when you're pumping, you're creating lift upward, which might help you get up on foil, but you don't have enough forward momentum, you know, so and you really want to get that wing lower and pulling you forward instead of just pulling you up. So having a narrower wingtip, especially on the bigger wing sizes, really helps a lot to get going. And obviously also when you're going fast, you want to bring that wing kind of vertical to the water. The more you have it at an angle, the less power you get out of it. So it's kind of like a sailboat. If you get it more in that vertical position, it's going to give you more power, more speed. And then
and easier to go.
The angle of the strut is kind of designed so that if it does touch the water, it kind of glances off easier instead of like flipping over, you know, like that. So,
which would also be good for flacos too, because you're going to keep them out of the water.
I got to get you on it, Robert. A lot of times the wings get damaged a lot from folding them up. You know, like so if you have a lot of folds and packing it real tight every time, that will actually damage the wing material, make it age faster and wear out sooner and bag out sooner. So by rolling it up kind of and not packing it super tight, it kind of preserves your wing for longer too, so that's a good point.
That's great. Just roll it up like that, and then get a board bag for traveling. Put it in flat, and then put the board in between it.
Yeah.
Very cool. Thanks a lot, guys. It's awesome talking to you guys once again.
Thanks Robert. Yeah. Oh, there's some wind now. There you go. Yeah. Juggler.
It looks fun.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, awesome.
All right, I'm here with a donation from Foil Attitude. What's the story with your brand?
Okay, the story started with universal kite bars. So we are well known in France for a bar that is called the Totem Vario. We also have carbon bars that are great for foil kites, like hybrid kites and monoskin kites also. And then we worked with Maxime Nochet, who has been 11 years a world champion, especially in kite foiling. So he has been using our bars, our carbon bars, helping us with the design. We also decided to launch a series of foils that we call Foil Attitude, and Maxime did the design. So we have a very simple range, and we launched these foils this year. So we have the early bird, which is really great for beginners, super stable. Then we have also the downwind foil, which is called the Extra, and super great foil. We have a great review in French magazines. And we have the Ultras. We have three sizes: 1150, 950, and 700. And they have a lot of lift, and you can do winging, but also like kite foiling also with the 700 or even the 950,
Nice.
or surf foiling. And these are all-purpose foils. Everything is interchangeable, and we have the race foils.
Yeah, what's
with
this guy? This guy looks exciting.
Yeah. This is the race foil, race version. You see the profile is super nice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he did like 34 knots at winging with the aluminum mast. And we have also the carbon mast here, which is even more efficient. It has 30% less drag because it's thinner than the alloy mast. Everything is interchangeable, so you see it's very easy to switch from aluminum to carbon.
Oh, that's
There
really
is
cool.
an adapter here. Remove the mass and the adapter and plug in the carbon mass. Everything, so you can start with the beginner foil and then up down to the competition.
That's really nice. That race wing looks so fast.
Yeah.
And I will say this too.
Yeah.
Your connections
Yeah.
are
Everything super
seamless.
stiff. Yeah, and everything
They're
is
really nice.
Yeah, and everything is super stiff. You know, everything is super stiff. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's important too. But I'm really impressed by the sleekness
Yes.
because to me that is the limiting factor on speed is how sleek your plane is.
Exactly,
So, and then you said like the thinner mast helps too. But really cool. Too bad there's not enough wind to try out that 550. I would go try and break 30 his record.
Yes. Okay. 34 with the alloy mast.
Okay, I might have to borrow like an ozone flux or something to match that. A specialized wing. Hey, great meeting you. Thanks for the info.
Yeah, thanks very much. Yeah.
Okay. Back with Uyghur. We did an interview I think it was 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
And we gave them best board because they have the XPS and some beautiful shapes and also just cool looking boards. What's new this year for you guys?
Yeah, so super happy to be back here in Hood River for the third year now. Yeah, we've got some pretty cool new stuff coming out. We've been doing really well, also thanks to you. Like best board really helps. Like gets a lot of interest for a lot of people. So we've just been evolving our shapes and our construction as well. So as you might know, we have our complete own production, which we are unique in because all the other brands will have to produce in other factories, some in our factory, but we produce boards basically to order in a large part. So that means we can constantly adapt the construction to whatever is needed and also the shapes and update and whatnot. For next year, we've got some cool new stuff coming up. One of the eye catchers of the show this year is this one. This is actually still a prototype that we cooked up actually pretty quickly. So it's made for the foil drive specifically because the foil drive guys have been crushing it last year with their Gen 2 foil drive. But the only thing is it has a big old battery box on the bottom, and if you foil and your bottom hits the water surface, you really feel the drag of the box. So we thought, like, what can we do as our own factory? For us, it's fairly easy to design such a thing where it's recessed and it's got like this this trench we call in the board, but the rest of the construction is still like the same. So it has all the strength. It actually has more strength because you're actually essentially building a torsion box out of carbon, and it's extreme how much of an performance gain it actually is. Everyone's surprised. Even the foil drive guys didn't expect it to be this big. Because
I believe it. It looks so sleek.
It's so sleek, and like I said, this is an early prototype, so it will look even sleeker come the final product, which we're planning to launch like around springtime next year. Yeah, so it's now in this board. This is our current mid-length shape. At the moment, we sell the mid-length only in smaller sizes, which is like 43 to 57 liters. Next season, we're going to extend the mid-length range all the way to the bottom of like the downwind range. So you see the downwind board back there. That's our new downwind shape that's coming out next year. This is a 95 liter, so that's the smallest size. The mid-length will run all the way from 37 to 87 liters, so it will cover a wide range. A few of them will be available with the trench option. That's an extra option you gotta get into that board. The others are there for smaller sizes, prone, middle sizes, really good for wing. We're designing one for the para wing thing as well. It works really well for that, around the 60, 70, 80 kind of literage. Really super efficient boards, even longer and narrower than our standard V3.
Awesome.
And then moving up to the downwind range. So that's the biggest one this year for sure.
You do carbon boards, carbon with the XPS foam, so if you do get water in there, it doesn't soak up the water, which is awesome.
Exactly.
But you had a couple of tips about how to set up the foil drive so the communication with the receiver is good?
Yeah. So the foil drive kit has been designed in such a way that the receiver for the remote, the antenna, is in line with the tracks. So as long as your tracks are, so carbon fiber blocks the signal, that's the basic, and also water blocks the signal. So those two things you need to avoid. We have plastic tracks that are wrapped in carbon fiber, but that carbon is not that thick, so the signal will penetrate through. But the water gets into the tracks and that blocks the signal. So you really have to take care. The foil drive comes with pieces of foam that you really cut those pieces of foam to completely fill your track. And they told me yesterday it's actually only the left track you have to fill, but it's better to do both. But all the connection issues that we had, because we've got clients that had connection issues, actually always can be resolved by taking care, making sure that it's completely filled all the way through, and then completely resolves the connection issue.
Awesome. Well, it's great to know those tips. And yeah, your boards look great, and people are really enjoying them. So
nice. So if you're around here, we've got a rep now here in the gorge full time. He's doing demos almost every week. Hit him up. His phone number is on the website. You can call him, and he will get a demo for you out there. So
awesome.
Yeah, hope to see you on the water.
Thanks for the info.
Thanks.
Hey, this is Mark Raaphorst. I shaped for SIC, was the founder a while back. So mid-length boards. The idea is to get the regular, more compact size boards and stretch them out, so longer and especially narrower. What the narrow does when you're displacing, so before you get on foil, you have a little bit more forward speed because it has a higher aspect ratio, less drag, and with that, especially with the Neo high aspect hydrofoils, you have more water flowing over your foil and it pops up easier. And it also pops up in a less of an incline, which is really good with the modern foils. And beside that advantage, during transitions, hard transitions especially, because the boards are by nature narrower, you're looking at 19, 20, 21, you have less touchdown in your tail section. They feel a lot more nimble. And the fin boxes on a typical mid-length board are placed further forward. Your perception of the board is still that you ride a short board because you stand further forward on the board in comparison to something more conventional where the boxes are at 7-8 inches from the tail. A board like this, you're already looking at 13-14 inches from the tail. So you stand further forward, but you still have the advantage of a longer board because some of that board is behind you.
What's the dimensions on that board right there? It looks like a nice size.
It comes in 5'3", 5'5", and 5'8", and this one is 19 inches wide, and the leaders are 50, 60, 70, 5'3", 5'5", 5'8".
That 70 probably rips for someone my size, I would think, to get up and ride some waves in light wind.
I'm 180 myself, and the 5'8" is my favorite. And then later on this year, we're coming out with the regular Kaohi series, and they come in 6, 6'5", and 7 foot for the bigger guys.
It is just a nice looking board. Just the lines and the blue and the black, and it just kind of looks like it rips. Wing boards were kind of ugly for a long time, and it's nice to see design being taken more seriously, you know, as something that matters. Thanks for the info. It looks like you guys also have some really nice foils, and you got some wings and stuff. And yeah, it's been great talking to you.
Cheers. Appreciate it.
Okay, I'm here with Dominic and David. Dominic, you might not know this, but you were influential to us big dogs. You made a review of, I think it was comparing the F1 CWC with the big slick or one of those back in the day.
I remember.
Because of that, I bought the CWC early on. People looked at me like I was an idiot. And down in our no wind LA and San Diego, it became a very popular wing for big riders. And on the Facebook page Big Dog Wingfoilers, it is still the probably the #1 big wing. So thanks for that review.
No problem.
Speaking of no wind riding, what's the story with foil drive for winging?
Well, winging, because of the development of foils, being whether they're higher aspect or just much more efficient in whatever way, earlier lift, better glide, that sort of thing, light wind winging, you can now downsize your actual wind wing considerably by using foil drive to help you get up on foil, but then you've got like a 6 meter rather than an 8 meter wind wing in your hands, and it can generate easily enough apparent wind to be able to give you sustained flight on those big but very efficient foils. So light wind winging, yes, I agree with you completely. That 8 meter CWC in its time was amazing, and I don't care if people looked at me and thought I was an idiot. I was a happy idiot, and that's all that matters, really, isn't it? But now I can go down to a 6 meter in the same winds, 6 to 10 knots, and I'm having a blast. The best part is that by using foil drive, not only can I get up on foil in super light winds, but if the wind does drop completely, pull the trigger and it's a safety thing. I get back into the beach. I can go further than I would normally. Due to safety reasons, I wouldn't go as far off the coast, but I've got no constraints really, because I know that I can get back in no matter what happens.
That makes sense. And talk about safety, for me, the worst part of light wind winging, I don't mind it when I'm in the lake, because I'll just paddle, I'll get my exercise, but when I'm slogging out there in a sharky area, I would love to have a way to get off foil. David, you said you've been doing a lot with the winging with the foil drive. How do you manage like the controller and stuff when you wing? I don't know, maybe you could show us something, or
well, it's just simple. I tape the controller to my front handle. Simple as that.
Okay.
Electrical tape.
With actual tape?
Yep, just black tape.
Okay, and maybe I don't know if you guys have one right there. You can show me how. I don't know of anything.
Sure.
I don't know.
So this is secret squirrel stuff.
We need a regular controller.
This is
a new thing.
The next level. David's going to get a regular controller to show you what he does. But this is still under development, but it's a very usable working prototype. So this base that it's clipped into sticks onto the board, or you can strap it. There are strap slots there that can be strapped onto any part of the wind wing, whether it's a handle or the close to the leading edge, or even in the middle in the boom. And you can either operate it by these buttons that are on there, or you can unscrew that cap, and there's a number of different attachments that you can position exactly where you want it, with buttons with different power ratings. And at the moment there's another option under development that's a pressure switch. So the harder you press on that, then the higher the throttle.
I like the sound of that. That's pretty cool.
There are so many different options, and Paul's going to be developing more of these options. I know this is a wingfoiling thing, but I can't resist saying that if you put this on the deck of your board, you press whatever button that you want for whatever throttle percentage that you want to help you take off, and there's a little magnet that sticks on there, and you can have a little very small discreet leash that either goes to your elbow or somewhere on your wetsuit, or even around your neck. So when you pop up, the magnet pops off and it shuts the motor off.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah, Paul's developed it with certain ideas in his mind, but you can be sure that the public, the consumer, the foil drivers out there will find some really cool uses for it.
Of course. And so, like, speaking of David, show us the current controller and how you're doing it.
Let's walk over to this wing right here.
Sure.
Okay. I've gotten really into using foil drive for winging. And even days when I don't need the foil drive, sometimes I'll use it. The easiest way is to just take the controller and take some black electrical tape and just like that, just tape it right there. And then your hand is right here to pull the trigger when you're getting on foil.
Ah, okay.
And then your hand just slides back down to here, wherever you need it to be.
So a boom seems like it's probably really good for that, because there's usually an extra bit of space.
It doesn't make any difference. Works on every single wing. It can be a soft handle.
A soft handle works here too?
As long as you know where your front hand goes on the wing.
Nice.
That's where you tape this, and
Cool.
it sits there. It's easy to use.
Sweet. Well, thanks for the info on that. And is that a leash on it, or what is that on the?
This is a leash for if you're surfing. Foiling.
Gotcha.
It allows you to get sessions that you wouldn't get before.
Really?
So I use my same, it's 775 centimeter squared front foil. I use it no matter what the wind conditions.
Awesome.
So even in light wind, I use that foil because I'll have my foil drive and I can get on foil. And the smaller wing, once it's on foil, is more efficient. Foil.
There's a lot of days where I'm so close, and if I can just get up, I'm good to go, but I can't get up. I do see the appeal, and some of those small days are fun too because the waves are cleaner, and it's just kind of, I get it. I get why people are doing it.
Yes, there's a magic. You know that magic to getting a good session on a light wind day. There's less stress. The wind. If you're in a cold place, the wind's not cold.
Yeah.
And then also, Foil Drive has 2 series. An Assist Plus, which is the older systems, which are still for sale and great, and that's the battery box on top of the board.
Gotcha.
And then you have the Gen 2, right, with the battery on the bottom of the board. Well, the Assist Plus has a very small battery that you can order. It's called a travel battery.
Very cool.
And it's really light. And that's what I use primarily for winging, because you get almost 0 performance hit. When you start getting up to the bigger batteries, you're going to feel it a little bit. It's still good, but with the little battery, you barely feel it.
No, that makes so much sense. Yeah, you don't need very much because you're just trying to get up. You're not doing your whole session with it. Yeah.
Right. And if you're in a situation where you think it's like really variable wind or you're really going offshore, you can use a bigger battery.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for your info. Tell Dominic thanks for his info. And all right, so just one more quick blurb. You just told me about these master all integrated. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, we got on to, we were talking about winging and putting the foil drive on, and then we were talking about the Assist Plus versus the Gen 2. And then we got on to the fact that you can see here that we have these beautiful integrated masts. That means that the motor mounts don't have any wires that are exposed, so it's a cleaner ride and more efficient. And you can see the different companies now. There's a Code, No Limits, Axis, North, Unifoil, Slingshot, F1.
Wait,
Axis.
How are you doing on Code on the carbon one?
Yeah, it's between Paul and the owners of Code. They figured out how to integrate for each of these brands.
That's so cool. I get the aluminum, but it's pretty impressive to see it in the
here's a No
carbon.
Limits, right? Great product.
All right, cheers. Back in the Axis tent, there might be already leaked footage of this, so I think maybe Adrian, the mastermind of all of the amazing Axis foils, wants to show us something.
So I just wanted to kind of go over our new wing, the Fireball, and a little bit how it evolved and why it's different and what it does. Key points about it is it's a much higher camber wing, and I've been trying to explain camber to everybody, and everyone says, yep, I know exactly what camber is, but then I say, tell me about it, and I think I've had one guy actually get the correct answer. So camber is basically if you cut this wing through here and then looked at it from the side, you end up with a curve for the top of the foil and a curve for the bottom of the foil. The camber line is halfway between those two lines. That's your camber line. And it's normally described as a percentage relative to the chord line. A chord line is a straight line from the leading edge to the trailing edge. So if you've got a dead straight line and you've got your camber line above it, if the chord is 100 mils and it's 2.5 mils to the camber line, that's described as a 2.5% camber. It gives you an idea of how much lift the wing creates. These new wings, the Fireball, like all of our existing wings so far, have been around 2.75% camber. This one's 3.7% camber. The old PNGs were 3.5% camber. So the higher camber gives it higher lift, but it also gives it higher drag. And with the old original PNGs, they do have really good lift, but they get to a certain speed and they just say, no, that's it, not going any faster. But if you make a higher camber wing, but reduce the chord, so it's more high aspect and narrow, that actually takes some drag away and it runs a lot faster. This wing here, it's 13 aspect ratio. There's, well, roughly, it varies depending on the size. There's a 1070, 1000, 940 and 880. And in area wise, they go 877, 773, 689 and only 604 for the little one.
Oh wow, that's a pretty small area.
Yeah, but they're actually really powerful. Like that one there at 773, that's easier to get up than the Art Pro 1051 and almost the 1121. Really good bottom end, but also really good top end. Our team rider Perth Stehlik, he's actually ridden that as slow as 3 minutes per kilometre, yet he's also done a 143 kilometre on it. So it's huge range that it handles. The other thing about these new foils is that they're actually got a lot of the other features from our other wings. They've got quite a bit of taper, like the V2. They've got similar turn down profile, not too much turn down, and a straight median line. So it makes them predictable and easy to use. Really good bottom end and really stable to ride. But the pump is actually quite a flat pump. It doesn't oscillate up and down. It's more of a chip flat pump. And because of that, it suits the short fuselage, the longer one that we have, and a smaller rear. And we found that all of our team riders ended up using the 35, the smallest skinny that we had for downwinding. We had to build some smaller ones. So we built a 30, and we built a 25 cord skinny. So I've got those there. That's the 30. Not much to it.
Nope.
And that's the 25. The 25 is super low drag, and this one was a sensible thing to do. It had to be done, smaller. This one was a bit of a punt, but you're looking at that and it looks like there's just no way that'll work.
No, it looks crazy.
Turns out it works really well, and it's become a lot of our riders' favourite for pretty much everything.
So I was talking with Nick about those a little bit before we knew if we were going to talk about the Fireball on camera. You really developed those for the Fireball.
Developed them for working specifically with the Fireball, but they also work really well with the big wings as well.
Interesting.
Like we've got a prototype pump wing that's 1700 span, and Dylan's riding that with the 25 rear, and it's a really good setup.
So yeah, I think people would look at this foil and they would be intimidated by it, by looks, but what you're saying is with the camber, you're going to, it's an easy to ride foil.
Easy to ride, easy to get up. We actually had quite a few. Tom Constant rode it for the Maui race series, and he rode it the day before, and he did one run, Maliko Kanaha, and he kind of said, "Yep, that'll do," and he rode it just from that. You know, he rode it, and he said it was so familiar and easy and comfortable to ride, so he didn't need to train on it for 6 months. He just raced on it. Obviously, he would have done better if he'd, had 6 months training on it, but it was that comfortable to use that it was very easy to use. The other thing I forgot to mention about the camber there is a lot of people, like a lot of wings have a reflex in the back here, and people have been calling that reflex, that hollow in the back of a wing, camber. That's not camber. It indicates the wing has camber, more camber in it, or is a higher camber wing, but that isn't camber. That's just a reflex, which is part of the shape of the wing.
And you taught me that yesterday. I was calling that concave. I knew that concave or that reflex and camber were two different things.
Yep.
But I didn't know the right name.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't, but it's that's just a reflex. And the camber, it's very, very hard to actually see what the camber is in a wing, and it's very, very hard to look at one wing and look at another wing and try and work out what the difference is and predict what they might be. The only way I can do it is actually getting the design file for the entire wing, and then if I design a new one, running simulation on both, and then looking at the graphs, and I can see which one's got better bottom end, which one's got better top end, more range, whatever. I can see all of that. But looking at it, you really can't see much, and it's trying to guess what a wing might do just by looking at it is almost impossible.
So even if a wing has a lot of reflex visually, you don't think that is indicative because you need to know the full camber?
For sure, that indicates that it's a higher camber wing, but cambers can range over a huge amount, and like these wings here at 2.5%. And these wings at 3.7%, you'd say that's only just over a percent difference. What difference is that going to make? It's massive. So like a 0.2 or 0.1 of a difference, it makes a big difference to it.
Nice. Do you quickly, and this is already the world's longest video this year, but do you quickly want to show them the correct terminology for shimming angles?
Yep, can do that. So I'll grab...
I made a video on tuning a foil, and I sort of described it, and I sort of alluded to your concept, but I think this is the best way to explain it.
So this wing here is designed so that when it bolts onto the fuselage, it's angled upwards at 1 degree. This rear wing is actually designed so when it's bolted onto a stock standard fuselage, it's angled downwards at 2 degrees. So the difference between this and this is 1 degree plus 2 degrees, 3 degrees. Now, if you lift the back of the rear wing so that it's angled down more, say you angle it down 1 degree shim, the difference is now 4 degrees. So we call that positive shimming because the difference between the two is greater. The most important thing is the difference between the two. So I'm trying to teach people that what that does. So more positive shimming actually gives you more front foot pressure. It actually makes it slightly slower, but it does give you more balance. You can do quite a bit. So if you've got a rear wing that is too small and too twitchy for you, a little bit of positive shimming can just make it so that it's easy to balance on it. And maybe you only need that for a day or 2 days until you get the hang of it, and then you can actually flatten that angle off. If you've got a wing that's too big for you and you haven't got a smaller one handy, you can negative shim. So you can lift it up and put a shim underneath the front edge of it. That actually reduces drag, makes it run faster, and makes the front foot pressure less. So you can kind of balance it out and get it exactly the pressure you require just by changing that angle.
And the caveat I give people who don't ride Axis mounts the rear foil on the bottom of the feet or top of the feet.
It has no bearing on it.
It has no bearing, but just be sure that you're thinking about the direction of the, as opposed to positive or negative shim might mean different things to different brands. So just be careful
You should always, like, it doesn't matter whether you're mounted on the top or the bottom. The key thing is what's the difference between this one and this one. And if you're changing the angle so it's more, that should be called positive shimming.
Right.
And if the difference between the two is less, it should be called negative shimming. And I think that's way more sensible than trying to say it's white or green or blue or red, which kind of doesn't tell you anything. It's really important to understand the difference and what that does to your ride.
I agree. And for those people who are dumb like me, I just say,
bolt it on stock.
Well, ride it stock. Your foil should ride well stock if you're an average size rider, for one.
Correct.
And Axis does. If you're a little bit bigger, or you ride a little slower, just do a little shim to point the back tail down a little bit.
That's positive shimming, and that gives you a little more front foot pressure and a little bit more lift.
Awesome. Well, thanks for letting us talk about these foils. I think these are some of the most exciting new foils this year in AWSI. I think people are going to be really interested in those. I think, look, if you want to surf and do freestyle, this is probably the foil I would get for what I do.
These are great wings. They're really fun to ride. These ones, you know, they're more high performance, and not that they're necessarily super hard to ride. They're actually still reasonably predictable, but very small areas for what they are. This 880, for example, the twins from Tahiti, they rode that in the Maui race series. That's 604 area. I saw them flat water paddle that up with a 25 rear, pump from Maliko Gulch out to the waves and then downwind to Kanaha on it. So the bottom end on that, they're light, you know, 63 kgs, but they still flat water paddled that up and pumped it all the way out to the bumps.
Yeah,
hard to believe.
I believe it because I've seen them do it, but I have a few foils in my quiver, and I'm a minimalist kind of guy, but you need a couple of foils. If you want to pump and glide or maybe do sup races, or you're a winger who just wants to glide forever and ride in light wind, I would go this way. If you're more like me and you're into big waves and freestyle, I would go this way. And honestly, just get one of each. Honestly.
What's too many foils?
Well, there's too many. But hey, Adrian, thank you so much for all the info. I think you're one of the more not just one of the better foil designers, but one of the more technical designers. I think you approach it from a engineering and mathematics point of view as opposed to a just guess and check.
Well, what motivates me is I think I have an inquiring mind and I want to find out. I'm not interested in just copying something else. I want to actually find out why this is doing this, why this is doing this, anything. Like only way you can improve is to understand where you're coming from. So I like to find things out, and that's what drives me.
And you know, speaking of the camber and the pump and glide, go back and watch my tack video. That 910B is still a great foil if you're trying to learn how to tack, because that camber gives it a long glide and low stall speed that lets you get through your tacks. If you're going around and slapping down, you might be surprised that sometimes a foil that you might not consider high performance might actually help you get to that next level. You can get a 910B real cheap on the used market to get your tacks up to speed if you're not quite ready to try something new.
That's a wing that just won't go away. It just keeps coming back. Yeah, we keep selling that. It's a great wing.
It's a great. I love those.
Yeah.
I love the HPS,
Yeah.
and the new wings look great. So thank you so much, Adrian.
Cheers. Catch ya.
The wind situation is so desperate, I think they've resorted to doing a foil drive pump race. Okay, they seem to be starting, maybe? I don't know. Who can tell? This is reminiscent of the Sherman Island relay where we had no idea what was going on. Check out that video though, that's a fun video. Oh, here they go, and they're off. It's some sort of race. It's a foil drive pump race.
Out and back.
You gotta pump out and then you can foil back from the buoy? I'm not sure. Oh man, Dylan working hard with the pump foil. He's on that new Proto 1700 axis foil. Just absolutely massive foil. Oh, someone went down. Oh no, someone went down, it looks like. Or maybe not. They seem to be going in circle. Where are they going? I don't know why that person just turned. I don't think we understand this race. Is that Ryan? Is that LA Foiler? Oh no! Oh! What a dramatic finish. And that looks like Kane, I think. Is that Kane? I don't know. I have no idea who anyone is. Oh, that might be Kane. Kane's in second. I don't know who came in. Oh wait, are they still going? I think it was Keaton, Foil MT, who won the race, and then Kane in second place.
Yeah, go.
Take two, since I just said something stupid. I'm here with Jim from Ozone, one of the marketing managers, and I think they're on everyone's radar pretty big time recently with the Fusion and the racing success. You almost have to have that wing if you want to win a race now. Tell us what's new this year and what you've got on the horizon.
Yeah, the Fusion is an incredible machine. We are really pleased with how it's gone in the races so far. The US Wingfoil Nationals was the most recent event, and if you've seen any media from there, yeah, the Fusion was a high performer, especially on the podium. I think we had 10 of the 15 podiums. Did Johnny Heineken win that race, or? Yeah, Johnny won the overall, but there were really good performances throughout the fleet, you know, from kind of pro level riders and amateurs, and it's a really unique design, and we've been able to take advantage of the fact that we own our own factory, and in that factory we also produce paragliders, wingfoil suits, we make all the ram air kites as well, and the Fusion is really a cross-section of all those technologies coming together. You know what? I'm going to stop you right there and ask you a question before we get into the wings. Yes. Where's the para wing? You guys are the obvious choice to make a good para wing. Yeah. It's an interesting time. There's definitely a design element there, but we're always working on something. We have a dedicated prototyping department that works 100% all the time in collaboration with the designers, but we never release anything that's not working to the exacting standards that we would want in terms of performance. So there are para wings on the market, I would say. It is an emerging sport, but it's something we're looking at, let's say. Like you say, we're in a great position for that kind of thing, as we've shown with the Fusion, being able to bring different sporting technologies together. Yeah. But as you mentioned, you know, the Fusion is a super high performing product, and it's a V1 model. Well, and it's arguable that the para wing is a beta model, the current ones that are out on the market. So I don't know, you guys are not going to give us a scoop, I guess, though. So no secrets on the para wing. I can't say anything. I mean, I think, yeah, so the new flow is the latest one in the range. We have a 5-wing range. starting with the Fly, which is the entry level, very easy low end power. It's got soft handles, drifts really well, great introduction to the sport. So although the Flow is the newest designed model, it's actually the second one in the range. So suitable for intermediates beyond. Its category is wave, do it all. It's just a super nice aerodynamic foil. The smoothness in the handling is incredible. The drift is superb. It's got really nice carbon handles. It's just a beautifully balanced wing.
And good canopy tension too, right?
Yeah, good canopy tension. It's not a Lula. It's a great price point. It's rugged. It's made for being used. You can, not that you should drag wings along the beach, but inevitably that's kind of what happens. But it's just very, very user-friendly. For whatever you want to do with winging, if you want to ride a 500 foil, if you want to go cruising around on a 1600, if you want to go upwind, if you want to learn your tacks, the overhead flow with this wing is unreal.
Yeah, it looks great for tacking.
Yeah, for tacking it's incredible. And it's really fed off the back of the Flux. So the Flux was a big launch for us last year. And where we're positioning that in the range now is that's the high energy free ride wing. High energy free ride wing. It's free ride / race. So if you're looking to ride as fast as possible, but with control, fast carves, that's the wing. This one is more all round. Still great speed performance, but it's more flowing, more fluid.
Gotcha.
Great drift on the waves. It's got less span. The Flux is a bit more high aspect. Great low end power. So the power range is a bit different. The Flux, you can hold on to super strong winds in it. This one has great low end.
Very cool. Do you want to show us that graphic that shows the series, just so that we can visualize it?
Yeah. So we kind of set it out as we have five options in the range, but the progression range that we have here is kind of suitable for anyone. It just depends on the style of riding that you want to do. You don't have to put yourself in a compartment if you don't want to, but the Fly, entry level, clean, simple, lightweight, good cost, very easy to use. The Flow has all the latest design, shaping, canopy aspects that we've developed over this 5 range model. Super tight canopy, great tacks as I mentioned. And then the Flux is, originally it was a strong wind performance race model, and it was running races when we first launched it, and then the Fusion project came to life. We've been working on it for a couple of years, working on ways that we could combine the technologies that we have with paragliding knowledge, the way that you build an internal structure like that. The potential for that on the race course is unreal, just the efficiency of it. So it's the first full double surface design, and the key to making that work was the technology that we had built in wingsuits, where you have the air intakes. So as you travel along, the air is injected into the inside of the wing, inside the double surface, and creates a super strong structure, so like an aeroplane wing, so there's no luffing. So it means you can ride much further into the wind before the wing starts to luff and flap.
Where does the light wind fit in that?
Well, the light wind fits bang in the middle. It's pure light wind, but it's designed to be very easy to use.
Gotcha.
So it's available in 2 sizes, 6.6 and 7.7. But the key to the design is that it's very compact. So even if you're not really tall, the 7.7 is still accessible. It's a slightly different technique with a big wing to kind of hold it up, but it's very lightweight and it handles like the smaller sizes. So if you like to ride dynamically, ride into wind, doing tacks, all your jibes, spinning the wing around, it's very, very good for that. Really surprising for a wing of that size.
Really, the wings are sort of made to order in your factory, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, exactly. So we don't bulk produce anything. So yeah, everything is made to order. There's a couple of good things about that. In terms of sustainability in the market, it's really good. There's no excess stock anywhere. We also run a version strategy, which means that we don't kind of religiously update the product line every year. We only release products as and when real innovations or real user friendliness is improved. That actually everything is available in custom colors. So for the wings and the kites. So because everything is made to order, it's usually around, if a shops do have some stock, but if they don't, it may be like a 28-day delivery time on that. But it's literally being made to order for you, for the customer. And so having our own factory gives us this unique flexibility to change the colors.
No, and that's really cool. Like I really like my wings to look cool, so
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. I think the main selling point is, I think I heard somewhere that you guys can treat your workers better because it's your factory.
Well, I mean, having been to the factory, I mean, Vietnam is an amazing, innovative kind of place. You know, there's a lot of factories there, but we have 1,000 full-time employees there. You know, and a lot of them recommend friends and family to come and work. It's a real great atmosphere, really good working place to work. It's very clean.
I'm going to take your word for it because I've never been there, but I think I heard that on a podcast, and I thought that was really cool because it doesn't make me feel good for us to be enjoying this sort of elitist luxury sport, and then other people are working in horrible conditions to provide that. So I think that's really cool. Okay. Well, thank you so much for all you guys are doing for the sport, and it was a great chat.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for your time.
We did not do any yoga, but she did tell me there was wind that day, so I got on the water, which was great. Love foiling with her. She's a charger, throwing the backflips, toe side 360s, and she kites as well. What's up, Nadja?
Actually, you taught me toe side 360s.
I can't even do them myself, though.
But you told me how to do them, and you encouraged me to do them, so I went and did it, and it's one of my most favorite tricks now.
You're good at it. So. And I want to see you do the what's his name, Brian Metcalf version, where he drags it and then finishes like, did you?
Yeah, amazing. I saw the video that you sent me. I try it, but I kind of need the kicker to get the pop, so it's hard to land on the kicker as well. It's like a real finicky timing thing.
She's a Nash rider, one of their team riders, sponsored athletes. What's cool with Nash this year? I'm on the Nash board now with you, so.
Amazing. So this is our new wing, the new ADX, and we made a few changes, and one of the bigger changes is we made the front handle longer, so you can actually wing with one hand and you'll still have plenty of power. So really nice feature. Another thing is the canopy stiffness. It's super stiff. We did that by changing the orientation of the panels, which is super nice. Really love it. If you tried the ADX previously and you love that one pump and go feel, this is even better. So big upgrade. Another adjustment we made is the profile of the wing. We made it lower and moved it further back. So now when you're actually flying the wing, well, let me show you.
I think it's coming this way all of a sudden.
It makes the pressure in your arms more even, so you're not constantly like pulling in the front and have the back extended. You're more even on this. So Noah did a really good job on designing it, and it will save you a trip to the chiropractor. So overall, super nice wing. Lots of improvements on the wing. Oh, and a little tiny adjustment we have also is the mini buttons on the trailing edge. What it does, it just prevents the fluttering of the trailing edge.
Yeah, they look better. These look a lot more sturdy and sleek, so I think that's a way to go.
Mini carbon fiber.
Yeah, it makes sense. What about, are you guys doing boom wings? Or?
It's not out. It's not coming out yet. This is just a prototype. We're working on it.
Okay, have you tried to do a one-handed trick with the long handle?
No, I'm still working up to it.
Let's do it. Let's try it.
Okay.
Because I'd be interested to see if you could do it. And then, yeah, you got the Envision, Envision, is that how you say that?
Yeah, I've been using it. My only hesitation taking this out sometimes is I'm super protective over the Alula, and I'm still sometimes destroying wings trying to do backflips. So when you see me on the old wing out there, it's because I'm trying to do backflips. And
but you send it, like you send it as hard as anyone I know, and that's why I like riding with you.
You got to risk it for the biscuit.
Well, great talking to you, Nadja.
Yeah,
it's always a pleasure. I hope we get to wing soon and share some more tricks and stuff.
Yeah, stoked. Awesome.
I don't know what to say.
I'm at the AFS tent with everyone's favorite instructor. Yeah, I think you've taught more people to wing than maybe anyone in the world, right?
Well, I mean, what's amazing to me is putting out there some free resources for people to learn. YouTube is an amazing platform for that. So I'm a huge believer in sharing knowledge, and and you don't have to be, whatever your level. I think you have some very valuable things that you've learned that you might be able to share and connect really with somebody that's going through the same process. Don't think you are not good enough to like teach or not good enough to share your experience. That's so valuable. So that would be my thing. But yeah, we are here at the AFS.
And you sell AFS at your shop?
Yeah.
What's your shop? What's your info for your shop?
Wingfoilprocenter.com. Cool. I sell. So I'm not here as like, I'm here as a dealer. So I sell many brands that are here. But I definitely have a huge crush on AFS foils. Cool. So that's I've been riding them quite a bit.
Yeah, I've seen you on this, the 750 up on the lake up in Idaho, right?
Yeah, 750 Ultra. I would say right now one of my favorites has always been the 800 Pure. But it's a pretty fast foil that doesn't necessarily have a good low end. So unless you have good conditions, in good conditions it's so fun, but in light condition it's a bit limit. And then that's where that 750 came out, and it's actually counterintuitive, if you would think, because like, okay, 800, if you go to a 750, you wouldn't think it's better for low end, but it's actually has a much better low end and still amazing glide. And what's pretty unique is the monoblock.
Yeah.
So of course, it's like with everything. When you gain something, you lose something. So here, with a monoblock, you definitely lose the convenience of traveling. But if you don't travel that much with your foils and you mostly ride at your local spot, going with a monoblock is going to give you like the most reliable, stiffness. There's no connection, and the cleanest, connection. Because it just goes through from like front wing to fuselage super clean. So you definitely gain in efficiency.
I think it's one of the most important things for top end speed, for glide, just having that clean path through the water.
For sure. And it's it's not going to move over time. So it's something that's going to be amazing forever.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I'll let you get back on the water. We can maybe throw it over to Richard. Thanks so much, Gwen.
All right.
And thanks for doing those YouTubes. They helped me when I was learning.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gwen.
And so this is another absolute ripper, especially on the SUP is like your main game now, or
so,
what?
Yeah.
I see you supping most of the time now. Last year, we pretty much said AFS was the best brand that we were impressed with for foils last year, just because of the construction and the quality of the foils and just the sleekness. And it seemed like, I don't know, I was very impressed when I wrote all that stuff. So we don't need to do a whole thing today, but one of my viewers was asking if I could get some info on the Enduro and should he get that foil. He's a pretty advanced rider, likes to ride swell, fast rider, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess the Enduro is ticking a lot of boxes, so to me that's the type of foil that you could ride whether you're a really advanced rider or pretty much, I would not say a pure beginner, but an average rider. We go from 700 to 1300, we go 700, 900, 1100, and 1300.
You want to show us?
Aspect ratio 11. The foil has been designed by Laurent Borgna. He's been really famous for his work on making those foils as smooth and turning as possible. The difference and the addition compared to a silk is obviously aspect ratio is going to improve the glide. Silk is already pretty glidey for mid-aspect foil, but those wine are going, silk is, just as a reminder, is aspect ratio about 8. This whole range is going to be aspect ratio 11. So they're obviously really glidey, but maintains a really high turning ability. So that's the main attribute. Obviously the bump technology does help to be able to use some fast profile without sacrificing this forgiveness into the stall speed that we all need. Otherwise we would suffer from the thin profile, fast profile into those wave riding. You want something forgiving enough to be able to crank some turns
and without stalling, you know.
And
so,
you said that that's almost like a replacement for camber in some ways?
Well, I would not say replacement. It's just we all need this forgiveness around the stall speed area. That you don't want. We all hate having a foil that's going to totally drop under our feet, and I would not say that replaces camber, but it's another way to create some forgiveness in a way.
Yeah.
And without sacrificing the sensation. So all those foils, they really feel glidey. Even the 1300, that is a big foil, they really feel glidey. If somebody is as obsessed as glide than me, like riding some aspect ratio 14 and things like that, I was really amazed by how glidey it feels for a big foil. So sensation-wise, you really have something great, whether you're winging with it, proning, supping, downwinding, whatever. Dog starting, obviously, also. I think it's going to be a favorite for a lot of customers, for sure.
So if you're going out for a sup session, it's like good conditions, you're trying to have a really good session, go fast, have a good ride. Are you reaching for the enduros, or are you going with the pure 750, or what are you choosing?
Well, if I have to race with some guys in the... If I have to race, I would go 750 Ultra for sure, or pure 1100, pure 800. All those ones, they are super efficient wings for downwinding. It's pretty hard to beat, to be honest.
The 1100 is a machine.
Crazy, yeah.
Like, yeah.
And then after, if I want to do, if I'm not that obsessed about going as fast as possible, if I want something a bit more free-ridey, a bit more playful, for sure I would go with the enduro range. And that's typically here in the gorge, like the type of downwinder you guys have here. Like it's just absolutely perfect on the enduro 900, 1100. You could go to 1300 if it's light, obviously. 700 works perfectly fine too. I had a blast last few days with a 900. It's probably one of my favorites downwinder here with this foil.
So more of like a free ride. You're going to go these guys, wave, maybe these guys, race.
Exactly.
Those guys.
Those ones are really quite racy, even though you could free ride with them, obviously.
Oh yeah, they totally ride.
But those ones are really free ridey, high performance foil to me, and they actually linked really nicely. I think the silk and those HAs, they're the right in between for those guys which really want dismountable foil. Obviously, all of those ones you could have the choice also on the two sides of fuselage that we offer. There's a medium and a short one to make it even more turny or a bit more glidey with the medium also. Plenty of choice and two-stab positions on it. You could make the foil like feel exactly like you want, basically. So
gotcha. Well, hey, thanks for the info. I mean, looks like you guys are still doing some really good work, and I think you guys are going to be one of the major players around in wing foiling for a while. So
thanks, Rob. Trying our best.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, back with one of my favorite brands to talk to at AWSI. This is Kevin with Action Sports Logistics. They do the Delta hydrofoils as well, and the Elevate. The Delta hydrofoils, go check the review from the last 2 years. One of my favorite foils, super glidey, really stable, amazing foil that doesn't get enough recognition. But let's talk this year about the new WFS wings from Elevate, because they look really good.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks a lot. Stoked to see you again, another year at AWSI. A little hotter, not as much wind, but still some really good times to be had. So yeah, the WFS. So as you know, that's been kind of our bread and butter boom wing. We're now in our 6th version of it, and because due to its popularity and also the ever increasing popularity for high-end materials, we now have the WFS Pro. So last year, one of the main things that we did is kind of change up the boom configuration, simplify it, but also maintain that control. And then we also changed the boom material to carbon fiber, so that lightened it up. So now we have the WFS Pro using an Alula leading edge and strut. Still has that same boom system from last year. They reworked it to take even more weight out of it, and also have done some stuff with the trailing edge. We've used a 6x6 ripstop and kind of removed some of that other leading edge material out of the trailing edge. Still gives a lot of stiffness, rigidity, but also reduces the weight in that trailing edge, which is something we're always trying to do with both kites and wings. Keep them moving forward, keep them drifting, and also just overall weight reduction typically leads to performance. So same, canopy tension, a little bit of a different rework there. Obviously, when you're working with those Alula materials, you're going to have a more rigid canopy to work with, so you can kind of play with the design to get some more performance out of it and not sacrifice that performance in the name of just trying to make it stiff. So really nice, stiff tension on that canopy, and like I said, just a really good overall airframe. You know, you still do have a rather thick leading edge, but again, with that Alula, you can kind of reduce that a bit to add those performance because of the added rigidity that you get from that Alula material. So this comes in half sizes. We have 3.5, 4.5, and 5.5. You know, super heavy PSI rating on those, and just really stable, really good all-around wings. So again, carrying over some of that DNA from the WFS, but just adding those premium materials to give you more performance.
I mean, it looks fantastic. It looks just like an absolute freestyle machine. Like you could just boost so high, do tricks. Like it looks good. There's also a new, just regular WFS, right?
Exactly. So, yep. Again, new version of the WFS carried over from last year. You know, as we start to dial in the product line, the changes become a bit less and less because obviously it's one of those if it isn't broke, don't fix it kind of things.
Sure.
But at the same time, again, in reworking that boom, kind of changing the position of it too to give you a bit more of that micro adjustment with the backhand, and then also still giving you that weight reduction that you get from that carbon fiber boom. So
it's carbon on that one too.
Yeah,
nice.
Carbon fiber boom on both wings. So
and this to me, guys, if you're looking for a freestyle wing, this is a legit wing. Like Elevate should be more well known for their wings because they're really good wings. We tried the original Elevate or the original WFS. We loved it. Then we did the GT1 Plus last year, which, and I asked a question on your social media. What's the difference between the two of them?
Yep.
And the answer was excellent. I can't remember now the answer, but it was so good. It was very clearly laid out. The GT1 Plus is more geared toward this, and I don't know if you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the WFS, again, like I said, more kind of an all-around free ride. People are using it a lot for freestyle, especially with the Pro. The GT1, now the GT2 Plus, is going to be more geared towards kind of performance wave riding. Obviously, you do have the different control mechanisms. You have obviously rigid handles with the GT2 and the boom. But with the WFS, this was going to have a bit less low-end power, but also again a bit more performance-oriented. So a bit quicker, a bit better with drifting overall. That was until we had the WFS Pro. But I would say more geared towards performance wave riding. That would be more free ride / freestyle in the WFS.
What I was really impressed with the GT1 Plus was the upwind performance was excellent.
Yeah.
I was just blasting upwind on that thing, so I thought that was a nice wing as well. And they're good looking wings. They just have a nice like look to them.
Yeah, thanks. And like I said, for the GT2, again, like I said, if you remember, we had those convertible handles on the GT1 Plus. So what we found is like 99% of the people were just using it on the rigid handle mode.
Yeah, they were a little funky to me. Like that was like it seemed unnecessary.
Yeah. Exactly. So we're like, okay, we think this can be good. Give you some kind of conversion. But again, most people were like, I use it on the rigid handle anyway. And if you're going to make it a standard rigid handle, then you can make it a bit more secure. Like I said, a bit better with the grip. You remember the other ones? I think you and I were talking about that as well, just with the material, just the being able to grip it and have like a nice feel. So this is again more of a traditional. These are carbon fiber as well. Really, really nice grip. Lighten it up a bit because we don't have that conversion, don't have that 2-in-1 thing. So I think overall people find this to be a bit better of a control mechanism. One of the differences is between the GT2 and the GT1. The GT2 is going to have a bit more low end because of the shape. But other than that, still really good at blasting upwind. Still really light, like I said, even lighter this year with these handles. And like I said, no more of that convertible handle system.
I thought the low end was good on the GT1 Plus. I rode it in light wind when everyone else was in the water. I was the only one foiling. I was on a big wing, but it felt small and it felt good. You guys know that I don't really lie about stuff because I just don't care. And Elevate and Delta foils, like, check them out. They're really good foils. They really are. I wouldn't say that if it wasn't true. Like, I really wouldn't.
Right on, man. Appreciate the good times as always. Good to see you. And like I said, elevatekites.com, Action Sports Logistics, any of our ambassadors, a lot of good reviewers like this guy, giving you really good information and just trying to get you out there on the water. So try us, give us a demo. We have, Frances rolling around the demo van. She's always posting on social. Hopefully coming to a town near you. If you post or comment to our Instagram and you have a need, you have a lot of people looking to try something, we'll do our best to get a demo as close to you as possible to make it easy for you to get on one of these wings.
Awesome, Kevin. Thanks so much for the info.
Thank you.
All right, we did Arntson last year. We went over all their cool hats. They're these sort of waterproof, semi-floating hats for sailing and stuff. Check those out if you need a new hat. But I wanted to talk about their waterproof bags for sup foilers or even wingers doing big downwinders. This is Nick.
Thank you, Rob. Yeah, so we got our new dry bags here, totally waterproof, airtight. I've had air in this one for up to 10 days, no leakage. We have a couple guys on the gorge right here who use it for their upwind, downwind rotations. They wing upwind, pack the wing right in there, and they're paddling downwind before their buddies can figure out what they want to do for the transition. 25 liters, could pack all your gear for a nice ride downwind, and then you could jump in a car without having all your wet stuff still on.
That's the most important thing, right? You keep a change of clothes in the bag, then when you get to your destination, you switch out of the wet stuff into the dry stuff, right?
Absolutely. And we also do a 35 liter duffel. This is the exact size of a carry-on for most airlines.
Oh.
So if you're trying to travel light, you can toss your wing and all your gear into one of the duffels, bring it on board. You're not going to lose it in your, in the airline chaos.
And a couple of satchels. What are these guys over here?
Absolutely. We do a 10 liter roll top as well. What makes ours special, this rectangular bottom means it doesn't roll away from you when you have it full, and normal bags are nice and round. Otherwise, it's a standard 10 liter roll top. And last thing, our Aqua Tote, same sealed, fully sealed seams on there, totally waterproof. You get changed, toss your suit right in there. It's not going to get your car wet when you try to make your way home.
But I want to see a downwinder just have that over his shoulder while he's paddling, and then that would be, I think that would be kind of funny.
Absolutely. Check them out at your local shop.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we're at the Kaohi Leash. This is Pono, Ripper. What island on you? On Oahu? Or?
I am on from Kauai.
Oh, Kauai.
Yeah.
Oh, what an amazing island.
Yes, it
and
is.
You're an absolute ripper on the prone, right? The sup and wing too, right?
Wing, yeah. And I just started getting into more of the downwinded scene.
Cool. And you're kind of helping the Kaohi, some of the local guys show off their new stuff.
Yeah.
You want to talk me through a couple things?
Yeah, so Kaohi actually started maybe 4, 5, 6 years ago, around there. Kaohi, which actually in Hawaiian stands for control, which makes sense because without a leash, you're not in control.
Yeah.
You lose your board, it could go, with foil, it'll keep on going. So you want a leash that's actually durable and that actually works. So here we have a new product, which is the belt leash. It's about 1.5 inches thick, wide, super soft material on the inside. So if you're not wearing a shirt, it doesn't cut into your skin. So
nice.
It's super soft on the inside. Many belt buckles around, so you can actually attach your wing leash or your belt to your board. Or you could actually hook on your speaker, which I actually do.
You put a speaker on there?
Yeah, when I'm actually downwinding, I actually hook up a speaker just straight onto my leash, and that's totally works.
That's so sick. And then you got that new Invisalign leash. This seems to be like kind of a new hot leash for sup guys.
Yes.
It seems like it might even be good for even winging or a wing leash even.
Yes, exactly. So this has you actually see a coil leash and then the bungee leash. So this actually helps with invis, which is invisible. So when I'm actually wearing this, when I first started, I felt like I didn't even have a leash on. So every time I fell, I had to double check to make sure my board isn't gone because it didn't feel like I had a leash. But with the bungee and the coil, it helps to, once you lose your board, if you have this bungee only attached to your leash, then this will actually retract back to you sooner than you want. So it could actually crack you in the face, which you don't want. So that's why you have the coil leash. It actually helps to release that release.
And the whole thing is just really lightweight because you're not all coil, right?
Yes, exactly. So when you have this attached, it's here, and it doesn't even feel like you even have a leash. For the most part, it's a good length to have. And when you're actually downwinding, subfoiling, whatever, you don't want a leash that's all wrapping around your leg, wrapping around your foil. So when you first started foiling, you have those long leashes. When you're foiling, it'll actually wrap around your mass, and it'll cause ventilation within your mass, which you don't want. So that's why Kaohi Roy guys all came up with the Invis leash, which everyone seems to love tremendously.
Yeah, it looks sick. It looks great for the sup, and yeah, I bet you could use it as a wing leash too.
Yes. Or we also have that the actual wing leash. It's just hook this up. So these leashes actually have a swivel, because normal wing leashes, you don't have this swivel attached. So when your wing flips, your cord just tends to tangle up like this. So with the swivel, it'll just keep on turning without it getting all tangled up.
That's so sick.
This is new. You don't really see this on any other wing company, wing foils, so that works. And with also the carabiner, you can just hook this up straight to your belt leash.
Oh, nice.
Just like that.
Nice.
And you don't have to worry about anything being attached to your arms or getting tangled up in your arms.
Yeah, I like a waist leash so I can paddle out.
Yes, yes. And the best part about it is super comfortable around your waist.
Yeah, that's, you know, I'm always wearing a wetsuit, but you're right. Yeah, you guys who are in Hawaii and your
warmer
trunks,
waters, yeah.
Yeah.
So I use this on my prone setup too. I use a belt leash for my prone.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool idea.
I actually like it a lot because it's here.
Yeah.
My leash is away from me. Which is great.
Kaohi makes great stuff. I thought their double coil was a really cool leash. You know, a really nice. I think this Invisi leash is a really great idea because I don't like a heavy feeling dragging leash. Sometimes it's even dragging in the water when it gets stretched out. And you're like, this is horrible. But dude, thanks just so much for walking us through that. What's your Insta so people can follow you and see all the cool stuff you're doing on Kauai?
On Kauai, my Insta is It's Me Pono. So obviously my name is Pono. But
yeah, and I think a lot of people already follow you, but we got to throw it in there just so people can check you out.
And it is me, Pono.
I love the island, man. I went there for my 40th 2 years ago, and man, it's just like, it's just an amazing island, man.
So we're actually doing our Foil Fever contest, Foilers of the Law, on November 30th. We would love for you to come on down.
You know what? I would love to go. Let me see if I could scratch up some dough and get out there.
So Kaohi is going to be there. We try to invite people from all over. Doesn't matter where you're from. Doesn't matter what you ride. It's a big get together where we have it's a family get together. Ohana, which is family. Dude. So that's what we want. We want the community to come together and just hang out, enjoy the sport, because foiling is nothing like any other sport.
Yeah.
It's really a big get together every time. The stoke, the happiness that it brings us all together, that's what it's really all about.
So what do you want to tell all the people coming to Kauai?
Bring that aloha spirit with you.
Awesome. Dude, thank you so much for the info.
You're welcome. Aloha.
We put up the poll. Who do people want to hang out with the most? And it was a tie. KT and Code is who everyone wants to hang out with this year. And I was going to make a joke about why would I hang out with Ryan all the time. Why would anyone want to hang out with him? But honestly, nicest guy in the world. And, you know, Kane, interesting guy. I don't think it's a exaggeration to say these are the most anticipated foils of this season.
Kane is our designer, our foil designer. We're super stoked to have him. And when I knew or found out that he was designing the foils for KT, I was like, this is going to be insane. Because not only does Kane live in Maui, right down the road from KT, he's able to test and prototype boards with them, and along with Kai, Otis, Annie, everyone in Europe, all the pro wing guys in Europe, and Tarifa, like Nathan, and they all have a hand in really being a prototype and design focused brand. So they're constantly spending time making dozens of customs to really hone in on a good production board that they'll release. And what's beautiful is, you know, there's a ton of options, but the amazing thing is that everything is really rigorously tested. And you know, you're out there with the board that, you know, the boxes are in the right place. They've been tested with multiple different brands, and now with the foils, it's really exciting to have pretty much a full line of products that are not only pretty affordable, but something that's really going to give people a lot more range and performance, but with user-friendly characteristics.
So these are affordable foils?
So they're going to be around $2,000 to $2,200 for the carbon mass and all that, which is a high modulus blend. We've gone with an aluminum fuselage in two sizes, 63 and 56 basically to start. And this connection, basically, we've actually gone through like 4 different versions, and that's kind of why the foils have taken a while to come out, to really confirm and like assure that our connection and our system is going to be future proof. We wanted to have a system where it was very easy for Kane to be able to prototype wings and continue to design and have an exciting future, but also something that where we can make the fuselage super light and also stiff. So we started with aluminum, just 2 screws, M8 screws into the front wing here, and then it's a saddle connection onto the fuselage, and then we have just our standard 30 mil spacing M6 tails that are compatible with his previous tails, but he's also designed some really good tails that combine and balance out everything about the front wing. So we have 3 ranges. We've got the Instinct over there, which is our beginner, intermediate, entry-level foil, which is super pitch stable, super controlled, easy to get on foil. The Instinct range is for people that want to learn how to tow foil or wing, or just something that's super predictable and smooth and has just those user-friendly characteristics for the first few rides to just feel safe with rounded wingtips. And then we have our more performance-oriented range. So we've got the Atlas here and the Nomad. And these are both kind of landing in the higher aspect category. The the Nomads are around like 8.9 to 9.5, and then the Atlas range goes from like the low 10s to the upper 10s in the aspect ratio. So the idea behind this is we want to have a ton of efficiency in glide, but also have maneuverability. So the main differences between these 2 series are the Atlas is a more glide oriented section. It's great for downwinding, but it's also great for turning, and it's super efficient at lifting and coming out of the water, but also driving and accelerating. So the coolest feature about these foils is the section, and it's something you have to feel in person. You know, people call it high camber, but what it really is a rear loaded profile. So
rear loaded. Okay, so
yes.
I just learned the term from Adrian at Access. He was calling this, I've called it concave in the past.
Yes.
He was calling it reflex rear loaded foil.
Right.
And can we show that? Because it
Yes.
really is, it's extreme. Like, I mean, you're not going to see this on, I don't see, there's no other wing. See how my thumb is dipping in there? No other wing has that much that I've
Right.
seen. Okay.
So you could call it like trailing edge camber. You could call it reflex. A lot of the times reflex will refer to maybe like a concave that'll kind of come up this way. But I call it trailing edge camber, rear loaded, high camber. But basically what this does is it creates the lift off the back of the foil. So being rear loaded, a lot of times just general flatter foils will have the lift like up here in the middle of the wing. But with this, it allows the foil to operate at really aggressive angles of attack and still create lift. This is not a new concept. This has been done with planes in like, you know, World War II. And what this basically does is lets you get up on foil easier. It lets you lift earlier, and it lets you scale down the overall size of the wing. So our foils will actually run 10 to 20% bigger than the name will lead you to believe. So this is a Nomad 830. The Nomads are more carve oriented. They're more swept in the outline, and that really gives you that stable rail to rail feel. They don't have as much kind of pump and drive and glide. They still pump amazing as the Atlas is. So the Nomad 830 will ride will ride about like 10-20% bigger. So when you're choosing your foil, it's good to keep that in mind. This is an Atlas 960. This will have an insane low end lift, and then again, this rear loading also makes them very stall resistant.
So the Atlas still has the quite a bit of rear loading.
Yes. The main, like, they have a very, very similar section, but the idea is this sweep. So as you can see, this leading edge is pretty even. As we go bigger, there's 2 bigger sizes. There's an 1180 and a 1340. The 1180 and 1340 are more like pump, super light wind, flat water practice. The smaller sizes will be like more like high powered, like high speed winging, race downwinding. For the M2O, I use the 680, and the 680, again, it has like the low end of a foil that's like 20% bigger. So it for me, like, I'm able to paddle it up like it's like a 900. So wow. That's the beauty of it, and having that stall resistance makes it really user friendly for that early lifting, getting the board to release and getting up on foil. The tails, we have Atlas and Nomad tails. The Instinct will also use the Nomad tails, which the Nomad is more kind of carve oriented. It's a little bit more compact, not as high aspect, and then the Atlas tails are more glide driven, more efficient, bit faster. We have 3 mast categories, or 3 sizes of mast. We have a 70, a 77, and an 85.
Okay.
And so Kane being Kane and constantly testing and tuning his stuff, he did something that no one else has really done before, and he created a really beautiful shimming system. So when he designed all the wings, and this applies to any foil, any brand pretty much, bigger foils need a little bit more tail to balance out the lift. The pitching moment of a foil is all kind of affected by a lot of different factors, but you'll find that across different brands, there's always like a recommended tail that they say, and then some of the wings they say, oh, you should put this colored shim or that or this angle shim. And he wanted to make it super easy so that out of the box you could have the most optimized and balanced setup. And so all of the wings, all the front wings are going to come with a value that tells you what shim to use to make it perfectly balanced with the setup. So also, as you go longer with the mast, if you went with an 85 mast, we recommend that you add another 0.5 to that total value. So you'd add the front wing, you'd add the front wing number to the mast value. So 77 is a 0, a 70 is a minus 0.5. So let's say, so this is still a proto, that it's not going to be handwritten, but basically we've marked it here. It's going to be really nice print. It's going to be 0 plus 1, and then that's my tail shim. And then perfectly with any of the tails, that's how it's going to be balanced out. That's the beauty. You get something that's already been tuned and tested and optimized to fly at its best and be super pitch stable and predictable. And so,
and then you can adjust it for your size based off of that, but at least you have like a,
yeah, I mean, we don't even think
the ideal.
I mean, heavier riders, like in theory, could use a little bit more shim, but honestly, we found that across like, you know, the testing in different weights, we just recommend going with this. And if you're really into tuning and stuff like that,
of course you would, you're skinny.
Yeah, I just ride on the recommendations. And so the kits, what's cool is they all come with like KT mark, like black screws, like having those extra things are really nice. And then the kits also come with the base plate shim. So base plate shimming is so that you can perfectly match any foil to the board, depending on how the boxes are mounted in a board. Like some people like the board to ride more nose up or flatter. So that option is there for you. Like if you're riding it, like some people are like, oh, my board is always riding nose down when I'm flying.
I hate that. I hate nose down.
So you could put a shim in the front, and that brings the nose up once the foil's in steady state flying. If you want a little bit looser feel, you could go with more of the Nomad tails and combine them with the Atlases, stuff like that.
Sure.
We have another fuselage, so this is a 63. We have a 56 as well, and that shorter fuse really brings out a lot of liveliness to all the foils. So it's almost like, you know, when I've used the 790 Atlas, I'll put the short fuse on and all of a sudden it feels like a size smaller. And they all surf really good rail to rail. And with these being rear loaded, the way the lift and the ventilation occurs is really negligible. So you can ride at really low speeds or high speeds and breach the wingtip, and it does not really get sucked down and create that instability. You hear it breaching, but you don't feel it. You've probably seen Kane ride. If anyone rides these foils, they'll really notice that from rail to rail, like, you'll hear them breaching, but you won't feel it. And again, for people that want that more carvy feel, the Nomad is a little bit more compact in the wingspan, so that, you know, with the longer mast is super surfy. And again, the Atlases are super surfy too, but it's more kind of more pump and glide through the drive and a little bit more glide and efficiency.
Yeah, they look really excellent. You know, Kane last year was telling me that he can maintain the top speed on these foils through some design elements. How are you feeling about the top end speed of these foils?
Yeah, so what's really interesting is, again, what this rear loading does and this section does is it gives it a really broad range. So it gives it a low end, like that's 20% bigger than the size lets you believe.
I believe that, but what I'm concerned about is the top end. Like, you think like...
Yeah, so the top end. So if you think about physics, if you compare apples to apples, an 830 that's a flat section won't be as fast as any 830 that has more curve in the section. What's beautiful about this is that you have a smaller wing, so you can't compare apples to apples with these foils. The top end is great, and I never feel any sort of like instability in the top end. So the stats are going to be in the overview, but I think this range is broader than anything else because it can behave and go as fast as, like, if you push it, like other foils in the 800 sizes. But again, it lets you size down. So that's the idea, is by having the better low speed, you're able to just go smaller.
a little bit in disbelief of that just because of my experience with high camber foils. But there's videos of Kane on 800 square centimeter foils going like 32 miles an hour. So it seems like there is some amazing speed potential.
Yeah.
I can't wait to try it out. I wish there was wind so I could really get a feel for it.
We'll have these back home for you to try.
Well, good, because I think the wing is a great way to test a foil's top speed, because you're just, how fast can it go? And it's just, Kane makes great stuff. And I think these are probably going to be I don't like to use the word game changer, but I think this is going to be a foil that a lot of wingers would probably really enjoy. I know you guys are sup guys, prone guys mostly, but I think they could be really fun for wingers.
Yeah, so actually Kane does his primary testing with the wing. It's super windy on Maui, and the best way to stay on foil and get the speed is on a wing. So he'll go to like Ka'a or Kanaha and just those spots where it's pretty windy, and he'll be able to test everything. And that's a lot of how he tuned it. And the mast positioning on the fuselage is really dictated a lot from comparing the optimal position between winging, supping, surfing, and finding that sweet spot. So again, like, you know, while you're maybe concerned about what the true top end of the foil is, you'd be able to size down like 2 to 3 sizes than what you normally ride, and you'd be winging on a 570 or a 680.
Gotcha, yeah.
And you'd have the maneuverability of a smaller foil, and you'd be able to get up, but then, you know, you're going super fast. But again, through the jives, through the tacks, having that range allows you to slow down significantly more and still stay on foil. So when you're tacking and you have all that wind resistance to get you, you have like an extra second or two to kind of complete it and stay on foil than you would with something that is flatter, faster, but doesn't have that low end.
Which is actually a really good point, because it's more important in foiling to be able to go slow than it is to go fast. I like going fast.
Yeah.
But you really, like, a lot of times when I'm waiting for a wave coming in, I'll slow down super slow to let the wave catch up, and then I drop in. So it makes sense. Look, awesome talk. I don't want to overload people. I think the foils is what we need to talk about with KT. We know they got wings. We know they have amazing boards.
Yeah.
Let's save that for some future video, because I want people to test these out. I want to demo them. I think if you're looking for a new foil system, you have to strongly consider KT now. I think it really is one of the top choices probably going forward. Real quick, what happened in the foil drive race? You look like you were pumped. You pumped out there.
Yeah.
Maybe first or very close to it.
Yeah.
You make the turn, and then it looked like someone might have cut you off.
It's just a good buddy, Patrick, having a bit of fun. He already told me, he's like, we're not going to let you win. So, and honestly, like, the beauty of that race is like, there's no pressure. And even if there is, like, I'm used to not like winning, so I don't mind it at all. If anything, it fuels me to like do well and then have something happen or where like, how can I improve for the next one? So I fell on the start. I caught up. I like had the energy to keep going, and what's cool is like having everyone still going around you kind of gives you that extra like, let's go. It's like kind of like when you're in an ice bath when you're like, I don't think I could do this, and then you kind of get past it and you're a little numb and you just keep going. But then kind of coming back around, Patrick decided to make me like, and he like didn't really like run into me or anything. I was laughing and like all that, so I fell, and then came back, and then at the end was like going a little too fast and pitched too much and lost my balance and fell. But
well, everyone knows you're an amazing supper and amazing prone guy, and it's great to see you race.
Yeah.
If you get bored tomorrow, teach me how to stand up paddle. We'll do some flat water paddle.
Well, speaking of which, Kane also designed a really amazing paddle that we're coming in 3 sizes. So this is called the foil blade, and the reason why we call that is because it is a foil. It has a section. Most blades are super thin and really fragile, and the idea behind this was we're always paddling at low speeds, and a lot of the times we're on our knees, and most paddles with a very thin blade will kind of cavitate or ventilate and just kind of go like this through the water. It's not a smooth pull, and especially the bigger blades, like people can hurt their shoulders because it has a sharper catch. This foiled section that basically helps the water wrap around the foil, so it's a lot smoother. And everyone that says, oh, it has a smoother catch, smoother power delivery, the best added benefit is because, you know, we're using like a higher density foam core and 12K carbon. I run over this paddle like trying to pop up and like losing my balance and hitting it with the foil, and I've never buckled it. Like on my other paddles that are super thin and bladed out, I hit it once with my foil and the thing is buckled and it's starting to flex and it's pretty much done. So for a lot of people that are learning to paddle, this is going to be the best thing.
Well, that's awesome. Then you can let me use that to practice it without fear of me breaking it.
Not at all. And so there's 3 sizes. There's a small, medium, and large. The size on the small is an 87 square inch. The medium is a 95, and then the large is a 105. So again, we kind of suggest that you cut the paddle length. This is a little long for me, but once you get better technique, you can go longer. But like, you know, eye level, head high. And then as the paddle gets longer, sometimes people wear out their shoulders more, but once you get the technique, you don't have to squat as low. And as you're getting up on foil, you don't, it'll engage better.
Well, dude, yeah, love for us to try it out and see what
it's light.
What could happen.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's super
light.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's so light.
And that's what having the foam core does.
Guys, what the heck? This is so light.
Yeah.
Like, this is the lightest thing you've ever... No way.
I'm really excited
I'm gonna
for
snap
what
that in half. I don't believe you.
Go try. Go
Wow.
try. So we'll teach you how to do some flat water paddling.
I would love to. I would love, you know, with that big KT, maybe it's possible.
It's interesting because knowing how to wing and get up in light wind actually caters a lot to that, because you're learning how to unweight yourself and unweighting yourself off of a fixed object. So like the wing, we learn that timing of how do I pull and get the board off the water to get the foil engaged. And the same idea applies to the paddle, where we're putting our weight onto the paddle and we're trying to unweight ourselves and the board so that we can get the foil moving forward and engaged. So having that cadence and knowing how to get up from light wind winging or stuff like that translates directly to this. So me, like before I started sup down winding, I knew how to wing in light wind. So immediately once I kind of developed better paddle technique, it was a very quick transition.
Awesome. Dude, Brian, thanks for all the tips.
Rob.
This is probably the longest video, but you guys won the poll, and it was probably the most anticipated thing, so I'm glad we talked about it.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, Rob.
Here's I've used too many different terms. Mad scientist? I don't know what you are. Kane's apparently going to give us some more info. I've been loving my my Marlin 14 on my Hyper 210. It has really brought that foil to life for me. You did such an awesome job on this new line, man.
Thank you so much.
Super impressive. You wanted to clarify something?
Yeah. So
you asked earlier if, for example, like this section made it slower than another foil. And at first, you know, because it has so much more low end, I thought that, you know, maybe I didn't answer the question correctly. So Kane will elaborate on how this section behaves at top speed.
Awesome. This is my most pressing question.
Yeah, it's a bit of the classic it depends. So if you compare it to a kind of more normal section that has the same bias towards low end performance, pumping and takeoff performance, this will actually have a better top speed for the size.
Got you.
All this style of section does is give you more range to play with. So yes, you can make a normal section much faster for the size, but you'll have to sacrifice in the low end.
Gotcha.
So this, compared to most flat sections, is about the same on the top end, maybe a slightly less compared to what most other foils use. But compared to a low end bias of the same section, like what is used on pump foils, it should have better top end for the size.
And so that's why we recommend that you size down like 10 to 20%. If you're looking for like that kind of top speed, you'd be surprised on, like, you know, you hear 680 and you think it's such a small foil, but that's like, I can like flat water that one up, and that's like my kind of everyday like prone wing and for winging as well. So
I thought I saw a video of you on like an 800 something doing 32 miles an hour, and yeah, it was on the GoPro, but the GoPro is pretty accurate. So
this will break 30, no problem.
How are you doing? Is it does the tail matter as well? Is it the wing? Is it the wind strength? Like
the tail tuning is important. Making sure, you know, just getting good control at high speed. But yeah, a lot of it is that symmetrical leading edge on here.
You mentioned. Can you expand on that? Because you mentioned that last year, and no one else has really been able to explain that.
I guess how I would explain it is, depending on the speed, the foil will operate at a different angle of attack, right? So if you're going really slow, the wing will need a high angle of attack to lift you. And as you speed up, it'll flatten off. And near the top speed, most wings actually go negative slightly, right? And some interesting things happen when the wing is run negative. Most leading edge shapes are fairly asymmetric, right? So the top surface is more curved than the bottom surface, and you have a bit of a corner at the leading edge. When that runs negative, you create a low pressure spike there, and that means you'll have no laminar flow, and you'll have a spike in pressure that can cause cavitation or just a spike in drag at higher speeds. This front third is really important in the top speed of the foil, making sure that when you are running at a negative angle at the top speed, that you don't have a pressure spike here.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and so yeah, think of what happens when this points down. If you have a corner here, you know, the flow is seeing that corner and creating a lot of drag.
It's increasing the
versus if it's symmetrical and it's very round here, you can actually avoid that pressure spike.
Okay.
It's interesting because on a standard section, if you do a symmetrical leading edge like that, you sacrifice a lot of your low end performance, right? Because you're not able to create the same pressure on the bottom surface. By creating all that high pressure back here, it kind of frees up some design space at the leading edge.
I mean, that's an excellent answer, and I can't wait. I can't wait to test them and confirm that, because I believe you, because I've seen the footage, and that's so interesting. I haven't heard anyone explain it.
And just like a normal foil, any other flat foil section, you know, you can take this design concept and design it for different purposes. So like, I have similar looking profiles that on some prototype wings or what I race on that are more oriented towards, you know, cruising speed, glide, or more oriented towards, you know, that top end of the speed range. And so in the same way you can tweak the characteristics of a standard flat section, you could tweak the characteristics of these to suit the goal of the foil.
Very cool, dude. Well, like seriously, once again, congratulations. Yeah, it's tough this year because I haven't been able to try anything, but I would probably recommend people strongly consider these foils if they're looking for a new system. At least see if they can demo one somewhere, because they look really interesting.
For sure, they're pretty unique, and I'm excited to hear what everyone thinks.
Awesome. Cheers, dude.
Cheers.
All right, guys, I think I'm done. I'm tired of talking to people. There's no wind. We got Starboard back here. They make good boards. I like that they have the volume in the nose. I'm all about that. And then there's AK, has some nice stuff. I don't know if they're even the same. Are they the same brand? Like, I don't know. I don't really understand. But they have some boom wings. Good stuff. We also tried to talk to F1 and Luca yesterday, but they didn't really have anything that they could talk about because they haven't released it yet. And then Luca was out doing his team rider stuff. Look, you guys know all about F1. You don't need me to tell you. If there was something new, I would tell you. Go check out Luca's Instagram. He posted up some ripping Sab Foil stuff. The guy does it all. I'm sorry this video was so long. I don't know. I got no final thoughts. We didn't test any gear, so not really like I can give awards. Go check out some KT foils. Code foils. New uni stuff if you're a uni rider like me. The Access stuff looks really good. AWSI 2024.